Sweet.
Hi, Kaylee.
Hi.
Thanks for coming.
You're welcome.
So, introduce yourself. Where are you from? What do you do?
I'm Kayle. I'm 25 and I'm a gardener and I work in the service industry as a server.
Yeah. We work together currently,
We do.
which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
So, you have a bunny.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I wanted to start with
This
that.
is the first question.
Yeah, I wanted to open with that just to like break the ice. But so I used to have a rabbit and its name was Da Bunny.
Da Bunny.
It was like, I think it kind of had something wrong with it because it would just like stare at the wall.
Oh, mine does that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it would, but the problem was we left a mirror downstairs. So eventually, like, I think it became self-aware.
He's
and then
like
it got
in the
really,
void.
Well, I think it got really depressed because all he would do is sit in the
Oh.
corner and then he just like died one day.
They're supposed to be in pairs, but I didn't do that with mine either.
Yeah. I feel like most animals enjoy being in pair. Like Arini has a cat.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, he's so sad all the time. And I'm like,
Yeah,
well,
he
do you
needs
have
a
one?
friend.
Yeah, exactly. He needs a friend.
I tried to get a friend for my rabbit, but I only live in a 1-bedroom apartment and you need to have like neutral space. And they, even if I brought them to a neutral space, they would just immediately fight. And I was like, I am not doing this. Like, I think my rabbit is happy. So
Wait, your rabbit would fight with what?
with the other rabbit,
Oh, so you did have two at
I
one
had
point.
2. And then I tried so hard to bond them, like all these different ways. And it just,
They
didn't
just were not
work.
having it.
No, I think because my rabbit is like 3, like he's older. So I
Mhm.
think when they get older, it's harder to bond
He's like the
them.
alpha rabbit.
But he loves people. Like people come in my house and he like runs up to them and like, so he's just bonded to people, I guess.
That's good. I mean, they're social creatures. Like most creatures, I feel like are
Yeah.
like pack oriented. Like they want to just like hang out and like just have companionship. That's why I feel like we got so lucky with Oat and Chai because they're sisters. And so they were
Oh.
like already bonded. And then we just like yoinked them. And now they're just like super happy. Like they love each other so much. It's adorable.
I guess with dogs though, you're not supposed to get siblings. 'Cause
Really?
There's like a, I don't know what it's called, but when you get 2 dogs that are siblings, they can like go against you. Like they're like a pack and they like can
Oh,
turn
they're like,
on
we hate you, human.
Yeah.
That's really funny.
I'll have to look that up later. I don't remember what it's called.
The weirdest thing with bunnies, I felt like, was that it's actually part of their diet for them to eat their own shit.
Yes, they
Like,
do.
It's so gross because
I try not to watch.
Yeah, because they don't digest their food fully. So like
Mm-hmm.
you just like,
It's like a
ours was
second
free roam,
round.
like in the basement. It was just locked in the basement and it would just run around.
That's really sad, Owen.
I have some sad rodent stories because while that was happening, my sister also got 2 guinea pigs like previously, like while she was like a senior in college or something, and then she like
Mhm.
went to college and like abandoned these guinea pigs, and then like they just lived in the basement and my mom took care of them until they fucking died like years later.
At least they had each other though. Like
Yeah,
the rabbit
true.
just had the cement wall.
The rabbit would stare at them. He'd be like,
Da rabbit or
yeah,
da bunny.
Da Bunny.
Da bunny.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Da Bunny.
My
Poor-
rabbit's name
poor
is
guy.
Bun, so it's not that much more.
Bun.
It's just Bun.
Lack of creativity with the bunny
I was
names.
trying to think of a name and I just kept calling him Bun and then he was Bun. So
Hell yeah. So now that we've gotten bunnies out of the way,
mhm.
I know you love to garden. So what
Mhm.
kind of inspired you to start gardening, and where do you find joy in that?
So I worked at this state park when I was like 17, I think. And we basically redid these gardens that like these old like rich people had someone like design it, and then every year we would like redo it so it would be like the same garden that was there. And I just loved being outside. Like I feel like now working inside when it's nice out is like the worst thing in the world. But working at a restaurant, you're always working at night, so like it doesn't matter,
Yeah.
you know? So yeah, I guess it started there, and then after I graduated college, I worked like a regular 9 to 5, and it was just so unfulfilling. And
What
I
were you
was
doing
like,
for your regular 9 to 5?
I worked in a lab, in a chemistry lab, which is like what I went to school to like kind of do, I guess.
Mhm.
But really, I did biology because I love sustainability and like I wanted to work in that. And now with my gardening business, it's all native plants, and like I feel like that's more in line with sustainability than working in like a chemical lab.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
yeah. So yeah, now I feel like more in line with like what I wanted to go to school for. And
That's
then
good.
serving also just kind of helps like in the winter when I can't garden, give more.
Gotta pay the bills.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Gotta
exactly.
pay the bills.
But what is interesting about serving that you said to me at one point is that you like were serving before for, kind of a long time, but then you didn't really love it. But then when you got to Little Moss, where we are now, you kind of like fell in love with service. So what was that like? Like kind of going, or what's it like serving in like all these different environments, and what was different about Little Moss that made you kind of like love it? Like be like, this is something I actually enjoy doing.
Yeah. Well, when I was younger, I was thinking about this earlier before I came, like why I didn't like it as much. I was like 16 when I started, and when you have like older men talking to you and like hitting on you, or like I even had like an old line cook like put my 18th birthday in his phone. And at the time I like didn't think about it, and then when I got older I was like, that was like really creepy.
Yeah, super creepy.
Yeah. But now that I'm like older, I feel like I don't take things as personally. And like literally 90% of the time people are just hangry. Like once you understand how people are, you can kind of like not take it so personally. But at Little Moss, I feel like I just have more like jurisdiction. Like my manager trusts me, the owner trusts me. Like if someone's like not having a good experience, they trust me to do anything I can to like give them a good experience. It's just about trust, really. I feel like I just have more like flexibility and trust there for sure.
Yeah, I think that's super important. I know there's a lot of places where there's like no trust, and it's like you kind of have to get manager
everything.
permission to do anything.
Everything on the computer.
Legit.
Like a manager has to come and fucking. Sorry, I probably shouldn't swear.
You can swear.
Oh, good. Okay. I love to swear.
I've said many bad words on this show, and then had my mom yell at me for it. So it's okay.
But yeah, like just the trust. Really. And like I believe in the food. Like when I tell people, oh, you should order this, it's because I've ordered it before and I like it. And
you're not like trying to push some special that's like, oh, we need to push this because it's the most expensive thing. You're like, I've had this, I've been here, and I know this is really good, and you want them to like enjoy it. Right.
And I'm not like thinking about my tip because we get paid like hourly instead. Whereas like at other restaurants, you're really trying to rack up that bill like just purely for your money. When you take away that tip part, it's more just like of a team aspect as well than like, oh, I'm working for just my money and fuck the rest of you.
Yeah,
you know,
because then it can get super competitive, and then service is kind of forgotten because people are like, how do I get as much money out of this person as I possibly can, instead of how can I make sure this person has an awesome birthday, right? You know, which is kind of what it's what serving is all about. Yeah, serving. Yeah. But
I mean, you still have like the horrible people that come in. Like, I think the worst people are when it's like it's always like an older couple that's like in their 60s, and the guy is flirting with you, and then the wife automatically hates you, and you're like, how do I get her back on my side though? Like,
how do I navigate
How do I like get rid of him and like just talk to her and like make her like me again? But
crazy how people will like flirt with a server right in front of their wife of 25 years or something.
And then I'm like, do they like this? Like, is this their thing? And then I'm like, no, like she's definitely not into this.
Not into it.
And then for the rest of the night, I like just take the order from her. I'm like, what would you like? Like, I'm like, he doesn't exist right now. Yeah, it's just you and me, girl.
Yeah, you probably want a burger or something to the guy fucking.
Yeah. Or like, I've come up with ways to like sort of navigate that. Like, I'll always be like, oh, you should like listen to like if they don't know what they want, I'm like, oh, you should just like listen to like the women in your life and like figure out like trust them. Like they're going to make you have they know you, they're going to make you have a good experience. So I just try to like swerve the conversation back to that.
You have any crazy serving stories?
Well, going off of that, I did say that one time where I was like, oh, you should like trust the women in your life. And the guy was like, but you're a woman in my life.
Oh my God.
And I was like, no, I'm not.
This guy, like, come on.
I'm like, wow, I'm really trying to like.
You're like, I'm not in your life though. Like, I'm here serving you. Like, someone in your life is like your wife or your daughter.
Yeah,
or like
I'm pretty sure it was his wife and he had like 2 daughters there. And I was like, wow, like you've learned nothing from them. Like, they've.
Yeah, a whole family full of women. And then you're still just like, yo, what's up,
horrible.
Server? Yeah, crazy how people can still be shitty after like having what's supposed to be a life-changing thing, which is like having a family.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, you're still just a piece of shit.
I definitely get less of those kinds of people at Little Moss. Like I've worked at other places where they've been able to like drink before they come into the restaurant. and they're like already drunk. And then you're like, can I even serve them at this point? And they just walked in the restaurant, and now I'm going to make no money on any drinks because they're already drunk and they're going to be horrible. So
yeah, and then if you refuse them a drink, or if you only serve them one, and then they're like, "Can I have another drink?" and you're like, "Fuck no," then
I think I've only told like one person I couldn't serve them anymore, like personally. I always just would like get the manager because that's just above my pay grade. I've also like seen a fake ID and like brought it to a manager, and they've been like, not where we work now, but they're like, oh well, just keep. Oh, they already drank. Oh, just like keep serving them.
Yeah, that's like, wild because that's how you lose your liquor license.
Yeah, I'm like, you should take this seriously. I've also been given a fake ID from Connecticut, and like I'm from Connecticut, so I'm like, obviously I know this isn't what the license looks like. There's some really bad fake IDs.
Yeah, I never had one.
Me either.
I would just get alcohol from people who were older than me.
Right.
And then, yeah. But I was never like, I need to go to the liquor store right now.
Yeah, I would be way too nervous. Like, I'm just not slick like that. They would know. Even with my ID now, like, I'm 25. I go into the liquor store, and I'm still nervous. And I'm like, this is a real ID. Like, why am I so nervous? But I wouldn't have been able to do it. It's just like 21.
That PTSD of being nervous when you're like 19, like trying to get some beers or something.
Right.
Like, yeah.
I mostly just bought weed when I was younger, but oh, sorry, Mom. She actually knows that.
That's okay.
She definitely knows already. Yeah. But yeah, like in college, it was the pandemic. Like I had 2 years of school, and then it was the pandemic, and I was gonna get a fake ID, and then I was like, well, no point now. And then I turned 21, and we were
turning 21 during COVID.
Yeah.
That's something I can relate to you with.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're around the same age, so it's like, yeah, that sucked. It's like
you were probably pretty close to the end, though. Because when's your birthday?
April 27th.
Oh, no, you weren't.
It was like
things were starting to get better then.
It was still kind of like not the worst part. Like we weren't like fully locked down, but we were able to go to like, it was like an apple cider. I forget the name of the place, but it was a place where they had food and they had a chef. And then they also made their own hard ciders. And at the time I really liked hard ciders that like weren't shitty.
I love cider.
And me too. And so we just went there for my 21st birthday, but it was still like social distance. You had to wear your mask unless you were eating. And then
which was so stupid.
So stupid. Especially now knowing
like come into the restaurant, wear your mask, but then sit down, take off your mask.
Yeah. And then the service will still come up to you. That was a silly situation. But
yeah. Everyone was just trying, I guess, to do the right thing.
Kind of lame 21st birthday though. And then you have like Fook who's like, dude, I fucking like blacked out on my 21st birthday, went to all these bars, and it's like,
how old is he?
He's 28.
Oh, okay.
He's a little bit older.
So he had a good like era of being 21.
Yeah, what a weird time that was, because you were 2 years into college.
Yeah.
When that
really hit. It was like mid sophomore year.
Yeah.
And then I was on spring break with my best friend. We were having the greatest time. We were in the Caribbean. And then we were like, oh my God, it's extended. Like, spring break is extended. And then it was like, just like, we almost like didn't get back into the US though. Like when we got back, they did all this screening and they were like so angry. And I was just like, what is going on? You know, that was like right before we really knew.
Literally a global pandemic.
Yeah. Yeah. But they were like, TSA was tense. Or like, what is that called when you re-enter the country? Not security. I
think it's TSA. Or you mean like for international flights?
I think it's just called immigration. You're like coming back.
They were tweaking.
Yeah, they were tweaking. But my mom was a nurse, so she like had masks with her, and she's like, "Oh, we should just wear a mask." Like dead ass. She was like, "We should just wear a mask." She honestly started that trend.
She was the first one.
Because we kind of knew it was like a respiratory thing, but it's just crazy to think about the pandemic. I feel like many years were just like robbed.
And it's crazy to think that it was 5 years ago now.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like yesterday, sort of, but at the same time, it feels like a fever dream, like it was so long ago. And being in school at that time and then having it like you said, like, oh, yay, you know, spring break is extended. Like, everybody was so gassed, but then it's like, okay, well, now you're going to be inside your house for like 8 months.
Yeah.
Like that was the most brutal part when it was like true lockdown. It's just like, that's when I found my love for cooking. Like
Oh,
straight up.
really?
Yeah, that's because before that I was also in college for like 2 years,
Mm-hmm.
and I was going for business. And
Really?
yeah,
I didn't know this.
well, I started as marketing, and then I was like,
Okay.
I fucking hate this. It just was so boring. I had a couple like really dry professors. I was like, this is just not it. Like I thought it'd be cool learning about like how to get something out there, which would have been helpful now, but
Right.
I didn't really absorb any of it. And then I was like, I knew I wanted to do something more creative, so I switched to fashion design, and I did that for a couple semesters, which was really fun.
You're really all over the place.
I really was. I was that kid that switches major like a million times.
But it's good. Like
That's
people
what
that
college is
don't.
for.
Yeah, if you don't, like you're just missing out on opportunities to see what fits you.
Yeah.
So.
And I met so many different types of cool people. But yeah, I did fashion for a little bit. That was fun. I really liked the design, like drawing and just designing clothes was fun. But then they were like, okay, now you have like sewing 101. And I was like, I don't want to fucking sew. So I just
Sewing 101.
instantly switched. And I went back to business, but for economics instead. And that was really cool. I liked economics because I feel like it's more applicable to everyday life, just like supply and demand and knowing how
like
that
your
affects
own
everything.
financial
Exactly.
shit.
Like why you spend money on things, why things are expensive, like the whole egg thing right now, like why are eggs expensive? Well, it's the avian flu, so they had to like cull an entire generation of chickens.
Yeah.
And now they're more expensive. That's macroeconomics. Like it's really cool how that works in, and I think about stuff I learn there every day. But then COVID hit, and I was home every day playing League of Legends for like 16 hours a day, like just a fucking loser. And then first time in my life, because I played that game since I was like 14, I got bored of the game, and I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Wow, that really took a lot, probably.
It did. It took years, and then finally I got bored of it, and I was like, well, now what? Like I'm home all the time.
You're like, now back to Fortnite.
No. Instead, I was like, because I already enjoyed cooking, and I had thought about being a chef, but it never really clicked. But then when I was home every day, it became like that was the thing I was looking forward to. Like, well, especially once Sayana could come over again, because we like accepted her into our little,
the
social
bubble.
distancing bubble. So then she would be coming over every day, and it's like, well, I would just look forward to cooking every day. And then my dad asked me a couple questions, which I think are really important for people to ask themselves if they're trying to decide if they want to do this. I like made an eggs Benedict, and made it all pretty and like did my best with it. And then I gave it to my dad, and he ate it. He was like, "Oh, this is really good. Could you do it 100 more times?" And I thought he was like busting my balls at first, but I really like thought about that for a couple days. And then I came back to him, and I was like, I think I can. Like, I think I want to.
Because you're going to.
Right,
you're
exactly.
Gonna do that
I
thing.
think I do want to do this 100 times and get better every single time.
Right.
So that was a really critical question that he asked me. And then once I was like, I think I want to go to culinary school, he asked me, he was like, where do you want to end up in the industry? And because I was like, which school should I go to? There's so many of them, like, or should I not go to school? And I was like, well, I want to be really good. Like, and so he was like, well, find a good one. So I looked up like best culinary school in the United States, and
it's in Rhode Island.
No, it's not.
Oh,
it's in New York. It's the CIA.
Oh,
yeah.
And you went there?
Yeah. So that's.
I was thinking of Johnson and Wales. Are they also good though?
They're number 4, I think. Last time I checked.
Okay, top 5.
No, they're still really good. They're the number 1 competitor against the CIA in the cooking competitions.
They're just so big.
They're huge.
Yeah.
I wanted to go there when I was a kid. When I was like 10, I was like, I want to be a chef. I want to go to Johnson and Wales. I didn't even know what that meant. But
damn, you always have to go back to what you enjoyed doing in your childhood.
Legit.
Like that's what it's about.
It's so wild to me. Because I remember I said to my dad when I was a kid, I was like, I think I want to be a chef. I was in the back of the car. And he was like...
And then you overthought it too much.
No, he probably said like long hours, no money.
Yeah.
And then to me, that sounded like no.
With like at that time, I feel like line cooks really weren't paid well. And now I feel like people in the kitchen are like being paid more because they're like, oh, if we just get good people in here to do a good job and we pay them a little bit more, like they'll stay around and
100%.
They'll know the restaurant and make it something better.
Yeah, the turnover rate is like so high in some of these restaurants, like because they're just paying them as little as possible, and then there's no training, and then they suck, and then they just like can't do the job, and then
same thing with serving.
Yeah,
it's like so oversaturated, but to have a good server really does make a difference.
100%.
Yeah,
like sometimes I'll go to a restaurant and it's like I won't even remember that we had a server because they were just like so like in the background. And then sometimes
do you prefer that? How do you prefer like a server to be at your table?
I like a really charismatic server that knows when to pull back. Like
ideal.
The best is when they're like just you can tell they're just like teeming with personality,
Yeah.
but they know when to like just say like a quick joke and then laugh and walk away, and then like let you just be like continue talking with your partner. And like usually with those interactions, I'm always like, I feel like that's more common to have a bartender like that than to have a server.
Because they're just always moving.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But there are servers like that for sure. And like I feel like Shannon is like that. Like he's very like sharp and he really knows what he's talking about too.
Yeah,
so like,
he knows how to talk to those people like specifically.
But we'll talk about wine, or like I'll ask him a question and he'll say something that like I totally had no idea about, and then he'll just like walk away, and then I'll go to Sion and be like, wow, I didn't know that. Like, yeah. So I kind of like that little, like, not mysterious. I don't want to say mysterious because I don't, want your server to be like, bye, like super mysterious and nonchalant. Yeah. But yeah, I like a well-educated server, especially at a nicer place, like when they know the steps of service, and like I can tell, or like when they do like the 1 ounce pour for the wine, it's like they do a nice wine service. I'm like, okay, this person actually gives a fuck. Like that's my ideal server.
See, but then there's some people that like you want to give them the whole wine experience, and they're like, just pour it. I don't care. And you're like, oh, okay, I'll just those people stop doing the whole bit, I guess.
Yeah, those people.
It's like, just enjoy. Like, I don't understand why some people come into a restaurant and like, unless they're hangry, like they just are like have an attitude, and it's like, but you're here at this fabulous place, you're gonna have fabulous wine, and there's gonna be bread and pasta, and like just enjoy your time.
Enjoy yourself.
And usually by the end they do, because they're fed and they've had their wine and they're feeling good.
I feel like some people just can't enjoy themselves though. Like some people are so miserable like in their everyday life that they're just like, give me the fucking wine so I can be drunk. Like, you know what I mean?
No, and that's true.
That's just sad.
Yeah.
But, I guess not everybody can be like super excited about it.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, 90% of the time people are just hangry. And once you like figure that out and you're like, oh, like they just need some bread, it like solves the whole problem.
Bite and they're like sweethearts. Yeah.
Exactly. I think the hardest part of serving is like every table, you kind of have to group people together. Like, unfortunately, you're like, oh, like this older group, they're probably going to want me to be like more involved and like quicker because like they want to eat in 30 minutes because they're 70 years old and like the music is too loud or whatever. Or if you have like a younger group of people, they're going to want to sit and talk and like maybe have, like you said, like that quick little funny interaction, and then like they want you to leave them alone for a while. And to be a good server, I feel like you just have to figure that out. Like you have to anticipate people. Like you kind of have to stereotype people a little bit, but like not in a bad way. Just be like, this is what I think they're going to want. And usually when you like greet them, you kind of figure out their vibe, and then you kind of like can just go off of that. No, that's what I was trying to tell Sergio, because he was like interested in serving, like possibly. And I was like, you just have to like read their mind, kind of. It's really what it's about.
It is. Yeah. I remember at school, shout out Professor B, that was my front of house professor. And she was like, your job as a server is to be like the best eavesdropper ever, because you're supposed to like listen to what people are saying and pay attention to them. And like you don't let their water get below half. Like you anticipate what they want before they even say it. Or like if you hear them being like, oh, like I really, this appetizer looks really good, but it's a prefix, so we can only get one, and I really want to try this one. It's like, well, then you just surprise them with both of them. And then they're like, oh my God, like that, like going above and beyond is like, that makes me feel really good. I don't know where you find satisfaction in service, but
yeah, definitely
for me, that's so satisfying. Like I love blowing people's expectations out of the water.
I feel like that's really easy for me to do at Little Moss. Like I can either send them something for free, or like the food is just gonna like blow them out of the water. Yeah. So, and it like especially when people come there for the first time, I'm like, I get so excited because I'm like, they've never had any of this food and it's so good. And then just watching their experience is so wholesome. And I do love it. Yeah. And I've never had that experience in another restaurant. I'm like, here's your burger, like, bye.
That's so funny.
You want ketchup? Okay, I'll go get that.
But at Little Moss, you're like, here's the burger.
I'm like,
and you're like giving them
I'm like watching them eat the burger. I'm like, they're gonna love it.
Yeah, the food is so good there. I was so like amazed when I found Little Moss, and then also a little sad because I was like, God, like I wish I knew about this place when I got out of school. So I could have I could have already been here for 2 years. Yeah. But at the same time, everything happens for a reason. So it's like, it is what it is. It was like fate when I got there because no, seriously, because Rich had staged at where I was working,
Mm-hmm.
and then he like was working with me
Wait,
directly.
so you knew Rich before?
Yeah.
Okay.
Before I worked, but I only knew him because he staged at Sailoft where I was working.
Okay.
And he was working with me directly, and I knew he was working at Little Moss, so I was like, okay, like if this guy's actually going to work here, I want to train him like really well because, you know, he's a good cook already.
Mm-hmm.
And he just did a day in the life, and we did our thing, and kind of instantly hit it off. I was like he left. He was only there for 3 hours, and he left, and I literally was like, I want to be friends with him. He's so cool.
Rich does have a cool aura.
He's
shout
so
out
cool.
Rich.
Yeah, shout out Rich. What episode was he? It was Isaiah, Randy.
I want to say 4.
He was 4. Yeah. Shout out Rich. Episode 4.
Shout out Rich. We love
that is
Rich.
the least viewed episode.
Really?
And it is easily the best episode.
He really does know a lot about wine.
Yeah. And also he's talking about like his sheep
Mm-hmm.
that he raised in the back of his fucking car while he was being a line cook, and he's like smoking cigarettes while bottle feeding them, and then they all got fucking killed by like a mountain lion. And I was like, dude, that is like the craziest fucking story. And then there's like it's like 20 views on YouTube. I'm like, bro, like
I haven't watched the whole thing. Sorry, Rich, but I will.
You should. Rich is super cool. Anyway, but yeah, so he staged at Sailoft, so I was like, okay, Rich is super cool. And then I thought I was going to stay at Sailoft, ended up being like, I'm going to see what's happening, and then
you went across the street.
Staged at Little Moss, and then when I staged there, I was working directly with Rich.
Yeah.
And Rich was already planning on leaving. I found this out later, but he was like, "Oh, I was already." He said he was already looking for his replacement, and then he just like found me and was like, "This is perfect." Even before I even decided that I wanted to work there, he was like, "This is the guy."
Yeah.
And like him and Lisa had like talked a little bit, and then finally I like came in and like did it, and then like accepted the position, and it was like magical. Like I've never felt anything like that, where it was just kind of like fate, and it was weird. But
I feel like she even gives you guys freedom to like experiment in like that is like the whole point of like for me like becoming a chef is just like putting your own little twist on things. And
100%. Yeah, and it's really depressing working in places where you have no creative freedom.
Yeah.
Because then like, and when you do be creative, people are like, yeah, whatever. You know, it's like it's not like rewarded. So then you're like, well, why am I even doing this? Because it's not being rewarded. I'm not like getting paid extra for staying late and like doing R&D.
Yeah.
They're like afraid to put weird shit on the menu. But then you get to Little Moss, and literally in the first 2 weeks,
you got banh mi on the menu because of Fook.
Yeah, because of Fook. And like the pappardelle dish has like fermented mushroom butter in it now, which wasn't before. And it's like, you know, it's not on the menu, but it's something that makes it taste so much better. Well, not so much. It's like it was already a good dish, but it's like the dish. It's weird because the dish it's like a curve, like it goes up, and then you reach a point, and then it's like diminishing return where you can do too much.
Yeah.
But then it's like little things like that can kind of like bump
just
it,
boost it up a
little bit, and just like make it that much closer. But it can never be perfect. But
yeah, I hate when people like totally reinvent the wheel on like food and just try to do like stuff that doesn't work. But if it's just like a little twist, it's like, oh, that's kind of cool.
That's always really depressing when like you see what they were going for, but you're like, you could have just like not done any of that crazy shit, and it would have just been better. Like just legit, if you had just like better quality ingredients or something like that.
My friend worked at this place where the chef put like mandarin oranges like with every single dish, and it was like, you're really just trying to. Are these like canned mandarin oranges? Like, where are you getting oranges in like November? Like, they're not.
Yeah. Or like tomatoes year round. All the time.
Gotta have an in-season menu for sure.
Yeah, that's my favorite thing about Little Moss and why I'm like so stoked about it. But no, Lisa like really, when I did my interview, she was like, the cooks kind of dictate what's on the menu a little bit, and obviously she has final say. But she really does like you said, like Fook started, he's Vietnamese, and now for the lunch menu we have a banh mi, and it's like probably around here probably the best banh mi you could possibly get.
Yeah, it's really good because it's also on like that really good bread. You know?
And it's made by somebody who like grew up in Vietnam, so it's like pretty authentic.
And his family meals do slap. So
Yeah, him and Arini.
Bro. Oh my god, I'm like, I only want to work on these days.
Yeah, every time Arini cooks family meal, like
I like your curries too, though.
Oh, thank you. I feel like mine are. I have a no repeat rule for family meal, so I'm not allowed to repeat anything.
No, you have to repeat the curry though.
Can't. I can change the protein, but it's like
you can do a little twist.
Yeah, but it's like I've made meatballs and pasta before, so it's like now I can't do spaghetti and meatballs ever again because I miss doing family meals so much. Like we would do it at school, and then we did it.
It's like a whole experience.
It is, and then I did it
meal.
at Oscar, and like that was so fun. Like it's so fun, like scrambling and like trying to cook for however many people you're cooking for, and like doing it now. It's like I see Brandon making mac and cheese every time, and Danny making frittata, which is he's a king at making frittata.
The frittatas are good.
King, and Brandon's mac and cheese is really good, but it's every week. So I was like, no repeats. Like we eat so much there together.
Yeah.
It's like I want people to always have different foods so that you're not like getting bored, and also having it be like slightly healthy. I feel like is good. So then everybody feels good.
Right.
Going into service.
Yeah, I do love the mac and cheese, but it's a little heavy.
Yeah,
everyone's like taking a nap.
Yeah,
like right before service.
I love Brandon, and I love his mac and cheese. Shout out Brandon.
Shout out Brandon.
But goddamn, yeah, like eating a bowl of like mac and cheese, and then being like, okay, now stand on the line.
Lisa always does make a salad, though. I noticed she's like, I'm just gonna lighten it up a little.
I just started eating tuna on those days, and I'm like, this is fine, like just to get me through.
Yeah.
But
I love coming in, starving. It's really nice.
Especially when it's your first meal of the day, too. Because even if it's not that good,
unfortunately, it usually is. I'm just lazy.
I'm the same way, though.
Yeah.
Recently, I've been better about eating breakfast. But that's only because Sayana wants to eat breakfast.
Yeah. So sometimes I wake up and I'm hungry, and sometimes I wake up and I'm not. Like, I just feel it out each day.
Yeah. It's also like what you eat the night before, too. Like, I feel like when I have a huge dinner, I wake up and I'm like, there's no way I'm having breakfast right now.
Yeah,
like,
I did have a big dinner last night, and I didn't eat breakfast this morning, so
same.
Just had my coffee. That's how much coffee is this?
I love the jar, by the way.
Thank you. It's 2.5 cups.
Big on jars. So I know you're also starting to get into wine a little bit. So tell me about wine. What are your favorites?
I honestly feel like Rich, like he kind of got the wheels turning for me on wine, and then Shannon like assisted me with like being able to describe them. It's just like so fun to match like either a good appetizer or entree like with a specific wine. Do you remember the Valentine's Day service we did? Everyone, like the wine pairing was like a half glass for each course, and I was just like, I love that. Like it's just like the perfect little amount with like the best food ever, and it just matches. It's just very satisfying, I would say.
It is, and that's like where you get to be creative as a front of house person.
Yeah.
Like, getting to, like Shannon always says, like, this menu is Lisa's in the kitchen and all the cooks, and then the wine list is his. Like that's his menu that he's curated because he knows the food and knows what's going to go good with it.
Yeah. And when people like ask me like, what's a good wine with this? I'm like they trust me, and I'm going to get them this wine, and they're going to love it. And I really do love to give people like a good experience at Little Moss, Creativity in the front of house is more like talking to people how you want. Like sometimes if you work at a restaurant, there's very specific things you have to say as a server, and you have to like go back like at a certain point, and there's just like you lose that creativity.
Yeah.
Whereas like at Little Moss, you can kind of, I don't know, curate the experience more towards like each person.
Which is fun because then people feel also like they're more of an individual as opposed to like just a script that's been regurgitated. I'm like,
why do restaurants like operate the way they do? Their servings are like way too big, their portions. They have servers that don't want to be there. They have bartenders that don't want to be there. And then they have like cooks that don't want to be there. Like who wants to be here at this point?
Nobody.
And then like that all just goes back onto the customer. Like you're not going to have a good experience, and then you're not going to have a good business. Like you have to have these good fundamental like departments to keep a good restaurant open. Or I guess you just get a giant restaurant and you just make a lot of money, and it's like not as good of an experience though.
But people can always tell.
Yeah, you can always tell.
Yeah, like as soon as you walk in the door, what type of place you're going to be eating at, and like how the experience is going to be. I like went to a restaurant here that I know you're familiar with in New Bedford, and it was just the worst service ever. Yeah. Like, well, like, and the food was bad, and so I ordered a sushi roll as an appetizer. And then we got all of our food, had some drinks, ate the food, got the check, paid the check, and then the sushi roll came. And I was like, yo, like,
and all you
I'm
have
not
to do
even
is
hungry.
Tell people, like, hey, I'm going to take this off your bill since it's coming after the check, but I'm still going to bring you the sushi. Like, just just
Yeah, but there
communicating
was
that to
none
your
of that.
customer.
There was
Yeah,
none of
no.
that. It was just shit service, and like food wasn't even that good, and then it was
Yeah.
mad expensive.
Well,
We're
when
like,
you're a new server and you're like going to a restaurant and you're like, hey, I'm new at this, and then they don't train you, you're like just out there trying to survive, and like no
yeah,
one has really like trained you, and you don't know the menu. Like I think a menu test is honestly a good thing. Like not like a serious menu test, but just like when you hire a server, they should know the whole menu and they should know the wine list. Even if you haven't tried all the wines, just have a few keywords that like, oh, it's dry, or
mhm.
oh, it's crisp, or I don't know. I just hate when you go somewhere and like they don't know anything, but it's really not their
Yeah, you're
fault
like,
because they're not getting trained.
right. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
what's a good wine with this? They're like, I don't know, a
Yeah.
white, and you're
Yeah.
like, bruh. But
I mean, I don't really care as much about the wine because I do think that's like a little more difficult. But like, you should know the menu. You should know what sauces come on it, or like how it's normally cooked, or what it tastes like.
100%.
But
I have a friend that works at 11 Madison Park right now in the front of house, and he just became a server. And I'm always like, oh, what are you doing tonight? And he's like, oh, just like doing homework. I'm like, what? He's like, oh, they have a menu test like every day before service.
oh,
So it's like,
that's a lot.
and it changes a lot. The wine changes, so like you're studying all the time. Like I've heard,
That's like just so like fueling though. I feel like
yeah. I mean, if you love
I
it,
love
like,
that
it's
environment.
intense.
Yeah.
And then also like if you don't study and then you fail, it's like, well, now you just feel like a piece of shit because everybody else is like
Yeah.
nailing it, and you're like,
Mhm.
oh my god, like I'm falling behind. But that sounds really stressful. I don't know if
Yeah.
I could work in a place like that in front of house, but I've thought about serving just for fun.
Mhm. You definitely could try at Little Moss. I would try before the summer though, because the summer is just a lot. But you're very charismatic. I think you'd like it out there. It's like that, like just getting that rush of service is like kind of what made me come back. Like when I worked at a 9 to 5, it was just very like I would sit at my desk, do my little thing. I'd go into the lab, do my little thing, and it was just very like monotonous. And I was like, I really just miss like the rush of service and like working with like when you're a server, you work with people that are in all sorts of industries. It's like you work with moms, you work with electricians, you work with hairdressers, you work with cooks, you work with people that have never been to school, like have never done anything before. You work with people that have been serving for like 40 years. It's just the rush of like all that is so exciting, so fun.
It is. I love the adrenaline that comes with this industry. I
Yeah.
didn't think I would.
I really missed it when I left
Yeah.
though. I did.
I feel like I could never work another industry or type of job now. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's just so fun. Like,
Mhm.
like there's no better feeling than having like a fully sat night, and then like right like 5 minutes before doors open, you're just kind of fired up, and then
Yeah.
you cut to like you send out the last plate, and just that feel,
Oh,
literally
that
as soon as the
satisfaction.
last plate goes out and you can start cleaning up. It does suck that you have like an hour and a half of cleaning ahead of you,
Mhm.
but it's just like fucking just giving high fives to people and being like, let's fucking go, dude. Like
Yeah.
it is. I can't believe like the four of us just served,
All these
however many people, and did it at like a super high level.
Mhm.
It's very, very fun.
The flow of service, if you like can just get it perfect, like the seating perfect, the food coming out, like if you can get into that flow, there's no better feeling, I feel like, for the front and back of house.
100%.
Yeah.
Because it really is a state of flow. It's like you don't even
Mhm.
think about what you're doing anymore.
Yeah.
You're just doing it, and your body's moving. And sometimes you have that thought while you're doing it. You're like, this is crazy. Like
Yeah,
you're like, wow,
this
is
is
happening.
crazy. Yeah.
But services, I've never done it in like a real restaurant. I've only served at school. We were
Mhm.
open to customers, and they were spending money, so I guess it was kind of real. But it was at school, and they knew we were students.
Yeah.
So
We could just swap one day.
you go in the kitchen.
I could probably do cold station.
Cold station's really easy.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And then you'll be the server. We'll just switch one day.
That'd be fun.
They won't even know.
They would know. I'd be like
That'd be fun,
fumbling, but if you gave me a week at it, I'd probably be very, very
Yeah.
good at it. I was good at it.
You're
at
really
school.
putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
Like you're just like, even though they really don't care about you, like you have to remember that you're
Right.
just like their server.
I feel like people are so scared to serve sometimes. Like Sienna's a little intimidated of it because she's done
Mhm.
everything except that. But it really is just like they don't actually give a shit about you. You just have
Yeah.
to like be a human and be sort of fun
And know the menu, and you
yeah,
know the
and
menu.
be educated.
So-
Exactly. But like you're basically like watching people have dinner, and you're just like kind of there for the ride. Yeah, just assisting.
Yeah.
You're literally assisting in them having a good night.
Yeah.
That's basically
You just have to be, I think the hardest thing of serving sometimes is just you always have to be in a good mood. Like you have to leave whatever you're feeling at the door before you serve. Because my problems like really aren't these people's problems and I can't put it on them. Or if like one table pisses you off, you cannot transfer that energy to the next table.
It's really hard.
It's really hard, but to be a good server, you have to learn how to do that. And I definitely had to overcome that. I definitely just wear my emotions on my face and I was like, I have to let that go because then it just lingers throughout the whole night and it's like...
How do you do that? Like, how do you let that go in the moment?
I don't know. I just try really hard. Well, usually if it's like another table has good energy, it kind of like will bring me back up. And like I said, I've learned that most people are just hangry. So it's like their emotions usually do change throughout the night. Like if they first sit down and they're like, I don't know, not having the best time. It's like that once they relax more and they're just having a good time, it usually gets better. It's usually not an entire night thing if someone's like rude to you. Sometimes it is. And then you're just like, that's just them and that's what they're going to do.
Yeah, that's just
so
how
I
the
just
night's
got to
gonna
move
go.
on with my life because what's funny though is I feel like sometimes when people are really mean to you, they'll leave you like a really good tip. Like, I don't know if they just want to like, if it's like their thing, like they just want to like be mean to someone and like take whatever out on them and then like they leave you a great tip and you're like, oh, maybe they just wanted to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel like it's more likely that they're like they
feel bad.
They eat and right, exactly.
Yeah.
They eat and then they feel better and they're like, God, I was kind of a piece of shit to this like poor girl. Like,
but I think some people like enjoy doing it though, and then they're like, oh, here's like a tip for like your troubles.
some people get off on just like being really mean to servers.
I think majority of the time you're right. Like they just are like, oh shit, I was an asshole, and then they give you more money.
Sometimes it's like that though. Like sometimes I wake up, not like when I'm going out.
Yeah, we're human, right?
Yeah, sometimes I wake up and I'm just like, I'm just like grumpy today, and like I'm just so pissed. Literally, I'm so pissed. There was one day I went to the gym with Abby and Sayana, and like we were just walking, and it was one of those days where I was just like grumpy for no reason, and Abby was like, "What the fuck is your problem?" And I was like, "Dude, I don't know. Like it's so frustrating when you like don't know why you're upset, but all day you're just like."
And then imagine having to go clock in as a server.
Right. Exactly. That's
what
I was.
It's underrated the amount of emotions you have to deal with as a server. I would think. A good server, even a bad server, you still got to deal with these people, you know?
Yeah.
But then they don't know how to deal with it. So.
And you have to tune into their like emotions like throughout the course of the night.
It's almost like a spiritual thing. I get into astrology with some of my customers. I'm like, if it's their birthday, I'm like, oh, you're an Aries, you know, pouring their water.
You're like, no wonder you're upset.
Yeah.
You're a Taurus.
I'm like, Mercury's in retrograde.
Yeah.
And you're an Aries and things aren't lining up right now.
Oh my God. Mercury's in retrograde. It's fucking hilarious.
I actually feel like I don't know a lot about the star signs compatibility. Some of them I do, but I just like know when they are throughout the year. Like it's not like that much deeper for me personally. But like Tori, you know Tori.
Yes.
She is like, she like did my cards or like she read my astrology chart and she was just like spot on. And I know like some people don't believe in it. I feel like you don't really believe in astrology.
Not really.
Which is fine. I'm not like,
I mean, sometimes
I don't really care.
Sometimes Sayana's like she'll say something and I'm like, wow, that is really accurate to me. But it's like, I'm like, isn't this accurate to everybody? It's like, oh, you're a Taurus. You like sleeping and eating. Oh, two things that are fucking essential for life. You know what I mean? Like everybody likes that.
Have you ever had your tarot cards read?
No.
Okay.
I will say that.
So I have read people's tarot cards before. And for me, this might not be true for every person that like reads tarot or like whatever for astrology, but if I pull 3 cards and they make you think about something that you were thinking about before, like an issue that you were having, and maybe like it made you think about it in a different way and you were like, oh. Or it's like, it's kind of like projection. Like these are the 3 things, rage bait. These are the 3 things, like death or like the 9 of Cups or something. Like death could be like there's something in your life that's like coming to an end. And whatever that makes you think about is kind of the purpose of tarot. It's just to make you think.
It's kind of like gaslighting yourself
Shut
with
up.
the spirits. Because it's like whatever shows up. No, but I think what you're saying is true because it's a deck and it's shuffled, so it's randomized.
Right.
So whatever happens to appear at the top and then makes you think about something of yourself or something that's happening in your life,
Right.
that card was meant to be pulled for you in this moment right now. So like, I guess I can see that.
Well, maybe it's not even meant to be, but the card was pulled and it made you think about something.
Exactly.
And that's all that really matters about like tarot and astrology, is just like what it makes you feel. Is it like black and white? No, it's just feeling.
Hell
I'm gonna
yeah.
read your tarot cards one day, and then you're gonna be
Bet.
like, shit.
You're like, shit, bro, I'm gay. God damn it.
God damn
I
it.
just needed my cards read.
Just needed my cards read
Figure
to
it
know.
out. Yeah, that's the running joke in this household. Sana's like, you're gay. I'm like, we've been together for almost 11 years.
I mean, but
bro.
what if you're just both gay, but you're also, you could just both be bi.
Bye.
Is Owen coming out? In the...
No. Bye.
Bye.
Oh boy.
Oh
No.
boy.
Oh,
We don't need to
boys.
go there.
Yeah, no.
That's funny though.
That is funny. What the fuck were we talking about?
Tarot cards.
Tarot cards.
Well, in astrology. But yeah, I basically just told this guy that he was an Aries, and he was like, wow, you know so much about astrology. And I was like,
Wow.
I really just said like your
So
star
quirky.
sign. Like,
I feel like I could get down more with tarot cards or like a Ouija board or something that's like very
well,
tangible.
Ouija board's different though.
No, I know, but it's like tangible. Like you're doing something and it's like you're
Mhm.
trying to directly communicate with like the beyond. But I feel like where the stars happen to be in the sky when you came out of your mom's pussy is like,
Whoa.
it's just like, does that really affect your life? Because the stars are there regardless,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I'm always just like, well, how does it affect me? Like in my day to day? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm
Well,
wrong.
time is supposedly like the only thing. Like, time is like so important to our lifetime.
Well, yeah.
Because like when you're born at a certain time, like that just, it's like a marker in time that like cannot be changed. And the moon and the stars and all that, I mean, it's got to mean something.
Does it though?
Because
Or maybe
like
it
with
means
the
nothing.
moon phase, like everything is made out of water. We're made out of water. How can we not be like affected by the moon? And how is
Oh,
that
we're
like
definitely
not
affected
true?
by the moon. I'm with
Yeah,
that.
but that's
I'm saying,
gravity,
like, the
and we have
stars are so
gravity
far
to
away.
we have gravity to like everything.
Like all the stars in the universe, they're always
I mean,
like
it's a small amount, but it's definitely like, it's definitely a force that's opposed onto your body.
100%.
at that time.
Especially the moon.
Yeah.
Because you're right, we are 70% water, so I feel like the moon.
But you can apply that moon theory to all the planets. So
Yeah.
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 I
So
mean-
that's why I'm a Taurus and I like sleeping and eating.
So you're a Taurus.
I am.
Okay. Yeah, so you are stubborn.
Yeah.
Yep.
Such a Taurus, right? Like
Such a
putting up
Taurus.
resistance. Yeah.
It's so funny because Shelby, who we work with, right?
Mhm.
She is like, I'm a Pisces, and she is such a Pisces. Like, she's just so like, I don't know, but she's not. She's like a Leo. So some people are like completely not like their signs at all, you know? It's not like a science.
My favorite thing is like when you're expoing and then a server comes up and is like, what sign are you? And I'm
Literally
always
me.
like, oh my God, guess. And then they're like, you're a Sagittarius. I'm like,
Bro, I think
how
I
did
guessed
you get
Sagittarius
that?
for you.
You did.
Yeah, I did.
You did. But then I'm always like, oh my God, how did you know that? And then they're like, oh, well, like, because of this and this. And I was like, that's crazy because I'm a Taurus.
Yeah.
And then they're like,
But you might have a lot of like Sagittarius on your chart.
I actually have my chart. If I could go on my phone, I would show you. I have that app, CoStar.
We'll look later, yeah.
CoStar, do you have that one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, you know.
Yep,
kind of in
CoStar.
tune with astrology.
Yep.
Pretty cool.
That's funny. Yeah, I should bring my tarot cards to Little Moss. I would love to do Brandon's reading.
Oh my God. I wonder what it would show.
He'll be like, I'll get that as a tattoo, bro. He'll be like, damn, honestly though.
Honestly though, yo, tarot cards is a tattoo. Not a bad idea.
No, honestly, I want a tarot card tattoo, but
Which one would you get?
I really like I think it's the Three of Swords where it's like a heart and then there's like 3 swords going into it. I don't really know what it represents, so
You just like it?
yeah, I just like it. There's a lot of cool art that goes onto tarot cards.
There's this store around the corner.
I think I've been there.
What's it called? The
I don't know.
Sea Witch?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, the Sea Witch. They have like all these crystals and stuff. And Sina's mom loves that. And Sina likes it too. So we go there all the time. But they have some cool tarot cards. They had like a cat set, which is really cute.
That's your
Cat
speed
tarot
for
cards. Oh, yeah. I love cats.
Yeah, I think I got Keegan like this feather pen there, like this like really punk like feather like sad like
Does he ever write with it?
Yeah, he does. He likes it. I went there with him, so.
Word.
Yeah.
Is it like a quill?
Yeah, like a quill.
Who the fuck writes with a quill, bro?
Just like for fun. Not like daily, but
Like,
just
man,
like an activity.
I gotta sign this check. We whip out this giant like peacock feather.
My John Hancock.
Yeah. What a horrible last name. Hancock.
I know, wow. My old teacher, what was his last name? It was like Mr. Scrotum or something.
Oh my god.
What was his name? It's like literally like ball sack. I think it was just Mr. Sacks.
Mr. Sacks?
That's actually not as bad as what did I say before?
Mr. Scrotum? That's like an actual part of the ball sack. It's way
Mr.
worse.
Scrotum. Yeah, no, it was just Mr. Sacks. Shout out Mr. Sacks.
Shout out Mr. Sacks, bro. Holding it down.
I think he was my principal, actually. He wasn't even a teacher, so.
My principal in high school, his name was Mr. Albright. And he was a big dude. He used to be like not a bodybuilder, a bodyguard.
Oh.
And he was bald. That's
bald.
Yeah, that's all I remember.
I had this police officer that like worked at our school, and his name was Officer Whitehead.
Oh my god! What? How is that your name? Like,
I don't know, bro.
Like, who in history like was like, oh, you know, what's
he
a
was
great
chill
last
though.
name?
Officer Whitehead was chill.
That's good.
Shout out Officer Whitehead. Too many shout outs.
Too many shout outs. We're shouting out to
We're like
people.
basically like a working ad.
Yeah, literally. It's not like they're advertising.
And Cheetos.
It'd be nice to be
shout out
sponsored.
Cheetos.
Yeah, shout out Cheetos. Shout out Birkenstock.
Do you like the fat Cheetos or the skinny ones?
Like the puffs?
Yeah, like the puffs. Or the balls. Those are your three choices.
The cheese balls are my favorite. I fuck with the cheese balls.
I would agree.
Heavily. There's just something about them because you can like put them in your mouth.
They're perfectly sized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. You put them in your mouth, no homo, and then you just like
put the balls all in your mouth.
Yeah, but the puff ones, I don't like. They're too dry.
Yeah.
And then the
dry ones the puff ones like are really dry.
They are. They dry your mouth out.
They need them in between the puff and the skinny because it's like two extremes. Like
I like the flaming hot Cheetos. I'm big on spice. So
me too.
But you know what I love more than that? Takis. Shout out Takis.
Yeah, Takis can sponsor
Holy
Owen.
Fuck, bro. I will eat like a family size bag of Takis and my fingers will just be like red and I'll like be sucking my fingers all gross. And I will feel so terrible.
Yeah,
It just destroys your GI tract. But it's so good.
I like those hot fries. I don't know what the brand is.
Oh, with the guy with the hat?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know that name of that brand.
But do you like those?
I don't even think I've ever tried them.
Oh my god, they're good. I think they're just called hot fries.
Just hot fries?
Just hot fries. But what I was going to say about the cheese ball is for my 21st birthday, I had a chocolate fountain. And then, like, we all got high, and there was the cheese balls, and we were like, what if we put the cheese balls in the chocolate fountain? And it was so good, though.
That sounds fucking amazing.
It was.
Chocolate-covered cheese
I
balls.
felt like a culinary chef in that moment, honestly. I was like...
A culinary chef.
Yeah. It was my ratatouille.
Like, the flavors are combined.
Yeah, it was like all the colors from, like, the movie.
That is so, like...
Shout out Ratatouille. That's a great movie.
Great movie. Pixar's.
I wish I had a little rat that could just work my brain and I could just turn it off. That would be. That didn't really happen.
Well, don't you have a rat?
I do. I have 2 rats, but they.
What are your rats' names?
Svava, which is like a Celtic princess or something.
Okay.
My boyfriend named that one, and then we have another one named Bat, which I named Bat the rat.
B-A-T.
B-A-T.
Bat. That's really good.
They're lazy though. They would not work. They just sit in their little cute hammock and snuggle and
don't do anything.
Don't pay rent, and I'm out here working.
Like,
where's my rat, bro?
It's so crazy. Work hard so you can feed your rats.
Yeah, so they can have a little penthouse and have a good life.
Yeah, we cherish.
That's what we all want for our pets, is like them to just have like a penthouse.
I would die for my cats, genuinely. They're like, I would give them everything.
Yeah, I would die for Bun.
Yeah, if they like grew to be telepathic and were like, I want you to eat Sayana, I would do it. Like, on God.
That's horrible.
Why?
To eat your fiance?
Yeah, I'm actually
Would she die for the cats?
Yeah, she
too?
would.
Okay.
I'm also repeating actually just now what Sayana said. So that she actually said that about me.
Then
I was like, bro, you'd eat me? And then I just flipped it on her. Yeah.
See, but if a woman had said that, I would have been fine with it.
Yeah, but since I'm a man.
Right. Yeah. Since you're unfortunately a man.
Unfortunately. Yeah. Rage bait.
Rage bait.
Let's talk about rage bait.
That's a new thing that I've recently done with Owen, is just give him rage bait, and it works really well.
I don't fall for it.
Yes, you do.
Like 70% of the time, I don't fall for it. I feel like Brandon falls for it a lot more, though.
Yeah, I haven't seen him in a while, though, so...
Well, he was out.
He hasn't been there when I've been peak rage bait.
Yeah.
But he will be
sometimes
soon.
You do get me. I'll give you that. Like, sometimes you'll say something and I'll just be cooking and I'll literally be like, God, like I'll be thinking about what you said.
You'll be like, God, she's so fucking annoying.
You really get me, but yeah. Rage bait. You're like a professional rage baiter.
I
like
know.
Sometimes I feel like when service gets crazy, you come back and you're just like watching, especially like
I have
Sunday,
to complain though.
Dude, I was getting crushed on plancha and you were just like, yo, where the fuck is my burger though? And I'm like, bro, like.
When you had all those burger plates lined up, you had like 8 to make. I really did need that burger though.
Yeah, I know. I was trying, dude. I don't work that station enough to be like really good at it. But oh my God. And what really got me that night was when you were just like, bro, you don't even have the other two going? And I was like, I'm fucking trying, bro. I just
okay, but you should have had the other two going.
No, because I would always rather just slow down like 10% and
it was
make
about 20.
Sure it's good. Okay, maybe 20%. And make sure it's good and like perfect, especially at Little Moss.
Right.
Then try to fire everything all at once and then like have it be sitting there. Because if I fire everything all at once, but those two burgers weren't fired.
But when I fire, it's very intentional. It's perfect timing when I fire.
But most people don't. So it's
but you should know that about me.
Okay. That's
okay,
good.
Just
good to know for future.
But Danny will tweak my firing time, and I'm like, no. This is my firing time, though. No, but obviously you guys got your flow back there, so you gotta do what you gotta do. And I gotta do what I gotta do. And that's it.
My favorite thing the other day was what Tori did the other day. She came in and she just goes, hey, can I verbally fire all my tickets? And I was like, normally I would say no, but it was the end of the night and we had like 3 or 4 tickets.
And it worked
I was
well?
like, absolutely. Because it was me and Arini. I was on pasta and she was on poncho. So I was like, Arini, can you fire everything? And she was like, yeah. Because we just want to start cleaning. So I was like, let's do it. So we just fired everything. And then boom, 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 send it out. And then we're done. Instead of like going through and wasting the time in the computer to fire it, just coming back and being like, because she fired it after. But she was like, hey, can you fire everything right now? I'm going to go fire it now. And I was like, bet. And then we just like got an extra minute basically to start. So I like that because I just like communication between the front and the back of house. I feel like when we stop talking to each other.
I've never done, well, sometimes I'll do that like just if I'm busy and I'm like, I can't make it over to the computer, but
I think it was like
that would be interesting to see if it would make things better or not.
I don't think it's like a good habit necessarily. I think it is better just to like do it like how you do it, like very intentionally fire things when you want it to be in the computer.
Because if you don't have the ticket there, sometimes you'll be like, is this ticket fired? Like if there's a lot of tickets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the way you do it is better. But in that moment, I was very happy because we were trying to go home. So I was like, yes, you can fire everything.
Yes. You're like, of course. Yeah, we can definitely fire everything all at once.
Yeah. I love working there though. Like part of me is really sad that I didn't get there sooner, but then I'm also like, no, everything happens for a reason. This is fine.
And you have so much like more experience coming in, and you can give advice, and like you can
exactly.
You
and,
would
like,
not be able to.
Like,
well, maybe you would have out of school. I don't know if you learned a lot at where you worked or in school.
I mean,
like, do you think you would have been able to come to Little Moss right out of school and have
100%,
the same?
100%.
Oh, really?
I probably would have been better for me because it's just like a better kitchen, better environment. Like it's just better in every way. But when I graduated culinary school, and this is something I think that a lot of people should do if you're graduating soon from culinary school or going on your externship, is just make it as difficult as possible for yourself. Like that's what I did with my externship. It's unpaid. First time I'm ever working in a kitchen.
Have you been a dishwasher?
I worked as a dishwasher at my externship a couple nights when we didn't have one. And then at some of the places in New Bedford, there was nights where we didn't have dishwashers. So I've never been like officially a dishwasher.
But you've done it.
But I've worked dish many of nights. And Little Moss, we're constant, like the cooks are dishwashers. Like we are constantly doing dishes all the time.
I know, like maybe I should wash more dishes. But
I mean, it's not on you guys in the front of house.
Yeah.
But I always just like, when I do dishes, I put the racks back up and I just want people to put the dishes on the racks.
Oh, put the dishes on the racks.
Yeah, like if you're coming back with cups, or not cup, that's a bad example. If you're
like
coming back with plates, like just put the plates on the rack. Less so for you guys. Right, again, less for front of house. I'm more talking about when I'm doing dishes, there's open racks, and then like Arini will come up and like put down the dirty Roboku and a bunch of bowls next to it. And I'm like, I'm literally like, I have other things to do too. You know what I mean? Like, but it's a group effort, and I never mind doing dishes. I actually kind of enjoy it. If I'm only doing dishes, like I'm not focused on other things, it's very therapeutic.
Yeah.
Especially if you know how to not be disgusting with it. Because I feel like a lot of dish kits
I
are like,
get really disgusted by stuff.
they're just splattered with food everywhere. But I look at it the same way I do as like your station. It's like if your station when you're cooking is covered in shit, like, or it just gets messy like throughout service, it's just not a good look. You're mentally just not going to be as there.
You would not like the server station. It
gets crazy.
It's just, you're just like throwing menus and like, I mean, I would say the other servers. Oh my God, I really do keep hitting this though. Like, I'm so sorry to your audio person.
No, it's okay.
But I think I'm probably the messiest out of all the servers. Like, I'd just be throwing shit down. But I just like live in controlled chaos. That's just, I'm very not Plan B. I'm very type
Shout out Plan B.
Shout out Plan B, bro. I'm taking a Plan B. Anyway, I'm very type B though. And I was just like throwing shit on there.
The crazy sidebar.
Yeah. Shout out Plan B though, because some men are horrible and will take off the condom during sex when you don't want them to. So, gotta get that Plan B.
If you're that guy.
Fuck him.
If you're that guy, fuck you, bro.
Yeah, he's not really cute anymore, so he's balding. That's the greatest thing, is I feel like a lot of bad men bald, and I love that about...
Bad men bald.
Bad men bald.
That's a t-shirt.
Yeah. I mean, good men bald, too. But
I feel like whenever a good man balds, they're like,
well,
I'm bald now.
Yeah.
And then they just commit to it.
They're chill with being bald.
And if you commit to it, you grow a beard, now you're handsome. Mm-hmm. But when you're like
I love bald with a beard. Honestly, fire every time. Yes. Biker look fire every time. Shout out.
No, but like when people just grip on to that grasp, they just grasping.
Yeah, to like the fucking
wisp. It's like, just be bald.
Yeah,
like, you're not a bad looking dude. Just be bald.
Yeah.
Like, especially if you're an older dude, like, you know, a bald, 50-year-old man.
Yeah.
With a nice beard.
I do feel bad for like the 20-year-olds that bald.
That is tragic.
Yeah.
That is.
Have you ever met someone that like is balding and they just like always wear a hat, and like you've never seen them without a hat, and then they take off that hat and you're like, you're bald?
Yeah. Like, and they're like younger than you and you're like, holy shit.
Well, it's like you should just be bald from the beginning.
Yeah.
To surprise somebody with baldness is crazy. After knowing them for like months and months, and then you're like, wait, like there was this guy I knew, and I had known him for years, and I had only ever seen him with a hat on. And then he took his hat off and he was like shiny bald. And I was like, what? Like, I just didn't know.
Some people are really self-conscious about it.
Yeah, I get it. Like, I'm saying with like an insecurity of mine, I would probably try to cover it up too. Yeah. So I'm not judging, but just be bald.
Yeah, just be bald. Just be
My
bald.
mom has great hair and she's 55. She doesn't have any gray hair. So I'm like, I think I'm good.
That's pretty good.
I'm covered for a bit.
I don't really have a lot of balding in my family, which is nice, and my hair is
you have a lot of hair,
so I think I'll be
even if you lost some, you'd be fine.
Yeah, and if I ever go bald, like I love having my head shaved. I'm gonna be honest; it's my favorite way to have my hair.
You should shave it for the summer. Meow.
Sayana like gave me the green light because she loves my hair long. She like loves it,
so it'll always grow back.
I know, and I've done it the past 2 years, but part of me is like, well, we need to take engagement photos, and do I want to be a skinhead when we take engagement photos, or do I want to like...
I don't think you can say skinhead.
I can say anything. It's whatever. I don't even know what skinhead means, honestly.
I believe it's a derogatory term, but
Well, I'm using it in the sense of like being
the
bald.
head, the skin on your head. Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully people can take that.
Yeah, I think they will. I think they will.
Mom. No.
Your mom was adorable when she came in. Shout out your mom.
Yeah. Shout out my moms. Yeah, for people that don't know, I have 3 moms and 1 dad.
Still turned out this way.
Still hate women. No. That's an inside joke. That's an inside joke.
Yeah, it is.
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
Shout out Abby. Shout out my sister. My
one
blood sister.
You guys made up after
we made up.
Said that you were a non-feminist. And I do remember when I asked you...
non-feminist. She said I was a narcissist and a misogynist. And I was like, bro, you're my sister.
Is misogynist not the antithesis of a feminist?
I don't know. I'd have to think about that. I think it is because...
Yeah, it's the opposite.
Yeah, because a feminist, you're supporting women, you know?
Yeah, what is...
Shout out women. But then when you're a misogynist, the definition is like you hate women and girls. But it's like, I definitely don't hate women. Yeah. Like, at all.
Feminist has just been a term that has been turned for the worse, and it does not even mean what people are, like, so offended by. Like,
Same with woke. Woke was, like, really cool to say.
Yeah.
And now it's just completely captured. Like it's just not a cool
like
word
to
anymore.
be educated about something is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Period. And is that not what woke is? But I understand when people are like talking about shit they don't know about, and then they like think they know what they're talking about, and
people
it's like you've never lived that life, you don't know.
People who think that they're woke are the problem.
Right.
They're ruining it for everybody else.
Yeah.
All the cool people.
Like if we just listen to each other's experiences, and you don't even have to understand them, but if you just respect them, that's all that it's about.
Yeah. And
you don't have to understand someone else's life, you just have to respect that they're their own person and they can do what they want and you can do what you want.
100%.
100%.
Slay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any other questions?
I don't know. Let me see what I got written down. Oh, baking. Let's talk about baking.
Okay. I love baking.
Yeah. So I didn't know what a ginger bug was. I know that's not baking, but I'm into fermentation and all that type of stuff. I had never heard of a ginger bug. So tell me a little about ginger bugs and the process and what they're used for.
Okay. So there used to be this chef that worked at Little Moss. Her name was Nina, and she used to make these fermented sodas. So I definitely learned it from her. And then my boyfriend worked there with her at the same time. So he learned some of it, and I learned some of it from him too. But basically, a ginger bug is, you can use it with like any fruit or vegetable. Maybe you wouldn't want to do it with a vegetable though, but like any fruit that has like a skin, because there's wild yeast on it, which is the same way that like sourdough works, because in the flour there's wild yeast, and over time you feed it and then like the colony gets bigger. It's kind of the same thing with a ginger bug. So you take like the skin of the ginger, the skin of the ginger, like a person. No, let's not skin gingers.
Skin gingers.
But you put it.
How did your brain even go there?
I don't know.
Bro?
I was like
the skin of the ginger. Skin gingers. Whoa.
I just feel bad. I don't want to skin a ginger. Anyway, you take the skin of the ginger, the root.
Jesus. Next time I see a ginger. Me and Sergio actually, hold on, sidebar.
Side note.
Me and Sergio have an inside joke, like, you know that game Marvel Rivals and like it's super popular right now, and then Iron Man's in it, and Iron Man has Jarvis. I don't remember how we came up with it, but you just reminded me, because you know how he's like, Jarvis, do this. Me and Sergio will just like be talking. I'll be like, Jarvis, take this guy's skin. Like you just saying that just like totally reminded me of that. But anyway, yeah. Anyway, back to the skin of the ginger.
The skin of the ginger root has wild yeast, and you put it in a jar with like water and sugar, and then the yeast eat the sugar, and then it gets a bigger colony, and it just makes like a naturally fermented. It's kind of like a starter, like same thing with like sourdough. And then you just you like get a jar, fill a little bit up with the ginger bug, fill the rest up with juice, and like an orange that's juiced, so not like just juice
like
from
fresh
like your
juice.
fridge. Yeah, it can't have like preservatives or anything. And then you just make a naturally fermented soda.
And so that will impart carbonation. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
which
what,
is cool,
like,
and that's natural. Like I have a Soda Stream where I never.
You force the CO2.
Yeah, you force the CO2 in it.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. That kind of also reminds me of wine.
Yeah,
like
I was
just
going to
circling
say
back
that.
to wine, because I know a lot of like good champagne is bubbly because of the fermentation process, and that's what makes it special. Like because of the size of the bubbles.
Like the Morphos wine that you like, I believe it's like a natural wine like that.
Yeah, 100%.
Where it's like natural or bubbly.
That's really cool though.
The soft bubbles are nicer, I think, than like the harsh forced CO2 bubbles. That's just what I like.
And it's cool that you're naturally doing it too, and you're not like having to buy CO2.
I'll just make you one.
Yeah,
and then you'll be like,
let's do one at work. 100%.
Yeah.
So if you were to make one, how would you do it? Like what ingredients would you need to start one?
You need ginger root, water.
Does it have to be ginger, or can it be anything?
So it can be like any.
Could you do like an apple because it has skin?
I don't know, because apples like naturally have like that waxy layer, and I don't know how that would affect. I personally haven't started it from that, but I'm sure if you looked up it would tell you. But you could do like pineapple skin, which I think is a good way to, if you're cutting up a pineapple, you're just going to probably throw away the skin, and you can save it and make like it would be a pineapple bug then. And
this is a different process than kombucha.
Yeah, kombucha, you have to have like, they literally call it like the mother. You have to have like part of the mother, and it's like this slimy, I think they make it from tea.
I thought the mother was for vinegar. Is it for kombucha? Isn't it?
It's like this
SCOBY.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, so
but I think it's the same thing. Like it's just like a thing of bacteria that's
I know, but it's just like so
it's weird
gross.
when they call
It looks like
mother.
a jellyfish.
Yeah, it's like what the fuck?
The mother.
But it makes sense because you can take mother and birth all these other different things from it, and then those will develop their own mother, and it's like very cool.
Yeah.
Fermentation is so sick.
Very feminist, honestly, if you ask me.
Yeah.
But yeah, you could use like pineapple skin or probably like strawberry skin. I don't know. I feel like you could just.
I feel like you could probably use. I mean, if it's wild yeast,
you'd want like a. Organic doesn't always mean that it hasn't been sprayed with pesticides, but like where we get our food at
like
Moss,
a true organic.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you go to an apple orchard and like pick the apple off the tree, and then do you wash these things? Obviously not with soap, but like I feel like whenever you're fermenting, you should like get dirt off of it.
Yeah.
Or,
like usually the ginger I buy it doesn't have dirt on it anymore, and the ginger I bought was from Aldi, I think. Like it wasn't even organic, and it still worked. So
yeah.
It could the wild yeast can still be on there. So yeah, you need that, water, sugar, and then it only takes 5 days. So you just like fill a jar halfway up. And like I'm like so type B, I don't have any sort of like measurements. I'm like, you just like put it in and it works. Like, but it's true. Ginger bugs are like really easy, a lot easier than like a sourdough starter from scratch.
We should definitely try one.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Make some little house sodas.
Yeah.
Why not?
And I feel like at Little Moss too, like when we get all the cool produce in, like we can make some cool ones.
Yeah. Especially with like leftover stuff that we have. It's like might as well juice it all and it would probably stay longer than just like if you juiced orange and like left it, it would not like stay as long. It wouldn't stay good as long.
Yeah. I think that's super cool though. I've never done like a fermented drink. Like I love fermenting and doing stuff like that in forms of preservation.
It's so easy. Like you can just like go on YouTube and watch a video and like sourdough is it's because I went from sourdough to doing that. I was like, oh, this is like so much easier than sourdough. So if you can do sourdough, you can easily do a ginger bug.
Sourdough is really fun.
Yeah.
It is. I had a starter briefly, but
I know I offered to bring you one, but you said you'd kill it, so.
I just don't bake. I went on like a baking rampage where I was baking like every weekend, like twice, and I was like baking a ton, but it was always straight doughs.
Yeah.
And then
which is definitely what you start with, I feel like.
Yeah. I just wanted to get like the movements right. And then I never moved on to sourdough. I had a starter while I was doing that, but I was kind of intimidated by like, well, how much of the starter do I use? And like all this stuff. And it's kind of, because it is kind of confusing.
Do you have a gram scale?
I do.
That's usually like when you use sourdough, you don't measure with cups, you just measure by weight just because it's like more accurate. Because like a cup of starter that's like really airy is going to be a completely different weight than like a less active starter. So you need to do it by weight.
Well, that makes sense. But I was always like, well, what? Because it's a percentage. So it's like, what percentage of my overall volume should be starter? And I feel like there's no wrong answer. Like, I feel like thinking about it now, like you could probably do like 50 grams. Or
it's definitely malleable.
A ton of it. Like you could do 50% of it. It's just how sour you want it to be.
Yeah, and how long, like if you, so like normally if I'm making a 500 gram loaf, I would do 100 grams of starter. But if I'd only use 50, it would probably just take longer for that fermentation period because there's less like colony to start with, right?
And do you use normal yeast when you do that? Or if you use a starter, that is your yeast?
That is your yeast.
Gotcha.
That's like your leavening agent. So I usually do 500 grams of flour, bread flour though, because it has to have higher protein. 325 grams of water, 100 grams of starter, and then you mix that together and like let it ferment. And this is what I was telling you about the salt. So after that initial like ferment, then you add on like 10 grams of salt and fold it in.
Yeah, I think that
because the salt kind of inhibits the yeast a little bit.
That might be where I went wrong the past couple times because I kind of got discouraged because it was working really well for a while, and then all of a sudden it just like I was just bricking loaves over and over again, and I feel like it was like the book I was going off of. It would say like add the salt and the yeast.
Well, you can too. It's just the way that like it is very malleable, but you have to kind of understand the basics of it, which is it's good to start with like a basic sourdough loaf and then kind of change the recipe as you want.
Yeah. I feel like...
But the salt, some people add it before, some people don't. I just personally don't until it's done. Its first ferment.
I feel like with starters, like me and Lisa made croissants the other day, and then she was using a poolish, which is... just makes more sense to me. It's like you start off with 50-50 flour and water, mix it, and then you just like let it go overnight. So it's like a one-time use.
Yeah.
And it's a higher percentage of the dough. And like poulish is French. And then there's biga, which is like the Italian one. And I think that's 60% flour and 40% water. So it's a little bit more dry.
Yeah.
And they just have like slightly different flavors. And that one, the Italian one, would be for like ciabatta. But then the poulish you can use in like a baguette or like just like your.
Is that how you
French.
guys made the baguette? Or maybe the bakers did.
What the for the banh mi or like a baguette?
The big baguettes that we have.
I don't know how they make it, but probably they use a poulish. Yeah, they are good. They probably use a poulish though, and that makes more sense to me because it's like you do it the night before and then you're using 100% of it the next day. Yeah. Whereas like a starter, I just was like when I had it, I would feed it. It's not that I couldn't keep it alive. I just was feeding it and I'd have so much discard.
Yeah.
And I was like.
Well, that's why you leave it in the fridge. Like you can leave it in the fridge for like 2 weeks and not feed it.
But I would just leave it for 2 months and then it would die. And I'd be like, why am I gonna like clean this jar?
Even if it like looks like it's dead and it has like that layer of alcohol on top, you can still probably revive it. Like, or
they're pretty forgiving.
Yeah, they are very forgiving, and they're fun.
Yeah.
I have a loaf in my fridge that I'm gonna bake when I get home.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
I haven't baked in months. It's been a long time. Just haven't. I think last time I baked, I was in Maine. And we were on the hunting trip, and I was like, I'm going to bake while we're up here. Yeah.
It's the
season.
It was
fun. We were like in a cabin in the woods, and I was like baking. I was like, this is so like holistic and cute.
Cute?
Cute.
Yeah, I really don't like to bake bread. I mean.
Yeah, do you bake anything else? Like, or just bread right now?
Sometimes cookies. That's kind of it. I don't really like do a lot of like discard recipes, though. I know like some people are really into the sourdough discard. But I just don't have a lot of discard because I leave it in the fridge and then when I want to make a loaf, I feed it. And then I keep like this much of it like all the time. So
that's smart.
Yeah. Like no cakes or anything. I just like, what would I do? I would have a cake and then I'd eat it,
you're not celebrating anything.
Yeah, like if I was celebrating, I guess I would. But bread is just so satisfying, especially sourdough when you get it. Because I've had horrible loaves too and I've been doing it for probably like a year now. And I still like have some horrible. It's literally just part of the process because it's an alive thing. Like it's not gonna be the same every time.
Exactly.
So
you gotta like take care of it.
But it's so satisfying when you get like a nice, crispy, tall loaf. So
it smells so good too.
Yeah.
Like your house just smells amazing.
Mm-hmm. I've made like a chocolate loaf before that was like really good. Like cocoa powder and then like chocolate pieces.
Amazing.
But if you don't like, some people don't like savory and sweet. So if you don't like savory and sweet, then you might.
That's like the best combination, though.
Yeah.
Like everybody.
I should just make a family loaf for all the.
Yeah, bring it in.
All the family meals I've been.
We just always have so much bread at work.
I know.
Like it's like too much.
I have a little piece of bread probably every night though.
It's just so good, especially the sourdough focaccia that we have for service. It's just like, just that, and like I always put a little bit of ricotta on it and just some honey. Yeah. Like one bite, I'm like.
I just love the olive oil too. Like that olive oil. Yeah,
super high quality olive oil is amazing. I used to hate olive oil when I was a kid, like extra virgin. Like, you know, when you would go to Whole Foods and they'd have like a little tasting section where you can try the olive oils on like a little cracker. I would be like, this is so bitter. Like, how does anybody eat this? Yeah. This is so gross. But
it can be bitter.
But it can be really good.
Yeah, real like smooth and robust.
And we had like our good oil that we use is like sometimes it's like spicy. Like it's got like a little bite to it. Like it's so flavorful and it's so healthy too.
Yeah. I did have somebody ask me if they could have bread that was less oily. And you know, like focaccia, you like put
oil.
Yeah, you put like a lot of oil on it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't think we have any. At the time, it was like before we did brunch and like we literally didn't have any other bread. But I was just like, that's such an odd way to say it. Like, can I have less oily bread? I was like, I guess you can't. Sorry.
No, you're just going to have to deal with it.
You just get no bread, I guess.
My favorite thing to do with sourdough discard was, because I'd have so much of it, because I wasn't baking at all, is dehydrating it and then blending it in like a spice grinder, and then you have like a sourdough powder.
What?
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Really good. We used to do that.
Just for like flavor?
Yeah. Yeah. It just gives it a little tang, but also a little bit of like earthiness, because it's still just like flour, sort of.
A little umami.
Yeah, it's really good. We used to do a truffle, like a white chocolate truffle.
Wait.
And then we'd roll it into circles, and then we would do like the outside powder would be sourdough powder. And so it's just like this like sour, sweet
that sounds
chocolate.
amazing.
Fucking amazing. So good. That like blew my
Damn.
mind. I was like, wow, you're using something that's like
Who did that?
extra. That was at Oscar where I did my externship. But they did so many insane things that blew my mind. Like there was also, I think, the powder that we did on the Bladderwrack course, which is like seaweed with like an emulsion on it. It's like chips and dip, basically. It's like the first course. And the powder that you would put on it was like dehydrated mussel that also was turned into a powder.
Like
so
in the shell, like the mussel?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you'd cook the mussels, you take them and you dehydrate them, and then you blitz them in the spice grinder. So then you had mussel powder and sourdough powder. So we'd call it mussel and mort, because mort was the name of the starter. And then you combine them and you put it on like this.
Mort is a great name for a starter.
Great name.
Yeah.
The best named starter I think I've
Yeah,
come
I don't
across.
even, mine doesn't really have a name.
You have to name your starter.
I know, I'm sorry.
I can't believe you. How dare you? I had one so briefly and it had a name.
Wow. I'll think of a good one.
But
I just don't know if I could get better than Mort. Like, I feel like
Mort's
Mort
really
is like
good.
right to the point. It's good. It's punchy.
Yeah, one syllable.
One
Mort.
syllable, Mort. It'll have to be,
I feel
maybe I'll
like
name mine Kurt. No.
people always name their sourdough starters like just like an old woman's name.
Yeah.
I feel like something like it's like Bertha or Gertrude.
That was the name of my
something.
first car, my XC90. Her name was Bertha.
Really?
Yeah. She was just a big white bitch.
No, I feel like a piece of shit because I forget what I named my.
Oh,
Volvo.
so you didn't name your car, but you'll name your starter.
I did, but
Oh.
I forgot what I named. Oh, it was Susan. That was the name of my
Susan.
first
That's
car.
such a Volvo name.
Yeah, Susan.
I love that.
My car now is. I never named the truck. It's like a white Ford F-150, and I don't know what to name.
I
it.
want that truck.
Too bad.
I'm looking to get a bigger car right now for my gardening, actually. So, but I don't think I want a truck. Trucks are just so expensive.
They are.
Even if they have like so many miles on them, they're still 10 grand, and it's like, all
And
right, I'll
also,
just get an SUV. Never mind.
like filling up my tank is never less than like $80
That's insane.
if it's like on empty.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of sucks. It makes me want to like. I know it's controversial.
Get a sedan.
No, it makes me want to like get a Tesla because it's like then I'm spending nothing on gas.
Yeah.
Because like going like it's $80 every 2 weeks. Like, it's
Yeah.
fucking-
I mean, there's other electric cars.
there are.
Yeah. I keep thinking of the video of the people pulling the metal off the Cybertruck, and
Yeah,
it's like
that was
fucking
crazy.
super glued on. Like,
That was crazy.
this man does not care about your well-being.
Hot take.
He's putting you in a fucking metal box that's like not even like aerodynamic for the wind. You're like losing gas from that, or electricity from that.
I just don't think people should be like burning cars though and putting swastikas on them, you know? Like
Yeah.
I get that people are like mad at Elon, which is fine. I personally
I love the bumper sticker that's like, I bought this before I knew.
Yeah.
Like,
But like I feel like if you're the one that's spray painting swastikas on a Tesla, you're probably doing too much. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
that's just
it's
like
not an individual
'cause-
person's problem. Like, they're
Yeah.
not Elon Musk.
right.
We
they
just
just
need to
like
get
they just
Elon-
like bought that car because they cared about the environment, maybe.
Yeah.
And
Not the
now-
Cybertruck,
and now-
though.
Okay, yeah, Cybertruck aside. But I'm saying for the most part,
The Teslas,
Like,
yeah.
like if you're the one spray painting the swastika, you need to look in the mirror. You know what I'm saying? And be
Yeah.
like, okay, wait, maybe I should wait.
Maybe I should
Why
be
am I doing
spray
this?
painting
Yeah.
someone's car. Maybe there's
Yeah.
other ways that we can resolve these issues
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
than just spray painting someone's car.
Yeah, it doesn't really solve.
But
anything.
electric cars really aren't even, like, as someone that has a degree in
Mhm.
sustainability, like, I just don't think that electric cars really are the answer.
I think it's like part of it, but it's,
It's, like,
definitely
on
not
the
as
way.
big of a piece
Yeah.
as like, you know, other things like plastics in the ocean. Like that, I feel like that is so
Yeah.
much more of a pressing issue, especially since people just eat microplastics constantly, and
Yeah.
that affects fertility. And like, if you look at birth rates, they're just going down. So it's like,
Yeah.
okay, well, we can either.
I think people
humanity
also don't
can
want to have
either
kids
die-
right now, though.
Right.
Yeah.
Humanity can either like go extinct in like a fucking bang, or it's just gonna like sputter out slowly.
Yeah.
I don't know which one I prefer. I feel like I'd rather just get hit by an asteroid than.
Yeah, I don't want to be here for, like, the revolution or for, like, the zombie apocalypse. Like, I'm going down with the ship. Like, I'm good. I'll just die out.
I'm kind of with the zombie apocalypse though.
Yeah,
I feel like
all
of
men
the
want to be
ways-
part of the fucking zombie
Yes.
apocalypse.
I was one of those. Like,
There's always some pregnant bitch, too. Always. It's like a bunch of men, a little boy. Well, I'm really just thinking of The Walking Dead, aren't I?
fuck Lori. Fuck Lori. I hate that bitch. Every time I try to rewatch that show, I always am like,
annoying.
I can't wait till this bitch dies. Like, and then she
but
does.
you gotta have that character because then when they do that, it's like so satisfying.
So satisfying.
Yeah.
And then
I just don't want to be there. I have no interest in trying to survive. Eating at canned beans, I'm okay.
I feel like
I couldn't even eat a squirrel. Like, I get so grossed out by food that, like, I can't, like, which happens a lot at Little Moss. I'm like, I can't eat mushrooms and I can't eat eggs. And but I can't eat a squirrel.
I don't think I could go my life without eating eggs.
Well, I do eat eggs. I just, sometimes I get grossed out by them.
I feel like that's an ick you need to, like,
lock in on.
You need to just get it out of your head, like, for real, because eggs are so healthy. Like, everybody who says they're not is wrong.
Just the idea of, like, I don't know, eating an egg is, like, so gross. Like, it's coming out of, like, a chicken. It's, like, their period or something almost. It's, like, their ovulation. Like, I'm eating their ovulation and, like...
That's a really crazy way to think about it. I think about eggs as, like, it is literally meant to, like, bring a life into the world, so it is, like, so nutritious.
Oh,
like,
wow.
It is so... It
That's
could
way
not
better
be
than what I
more
think.
nutritious because the fats that are in there are so good for your brain. It's good fat. Like, the yolk is obviously in excess. You don't want to eat, like, 50 eggs a day.
Yeah.
But the fat, it's everything you need to start a life. And then you're eating that, and it's just, like, it's so good for you. It's clean protein. It's good fats. Like,
yeah.
It's really the perfect food.
I do eat eggs. Like, I will eat scrambled eggs, or, like, I can't eat any runny yolks, though. I can't do that.
Right, that I want to help you get over, because there's nothing more satisfying than, like, a really good, like, just, like, ramen, like, instant ramen, and then having a fried egg on it with, like, a runny yolk is, like, so fucking
See,
good.
I would just rather have the cooked yolk.
Because think of the yolk as, like, a sauce.
I can't.
But why?
Because it just, like, it's just my brain. It just grosses me out.
I feel like if you think about any food that comes from an animal long enough, it can wig you out.
Yeah, I mean, even, like, sometimes
you eat
chicken I won't eat.
Right, you eat mac and cheese when Brenda makes it, but if there's heavy cream in it, it's coming from a cow, and it's like, well, that's, you're literally, like, sucking the nutrients out of, like, an animal that isn't human. Like, if you think about every food, it's super weird and gross.
Just eggs, I don't know, are just more of an ick.
Is it like salmonella? Like, you're scared of dying?
No, it's just the like what the egg means to me. The ovulation of the chicken.
Yeah, that right there is the problem. Is you're thinking of it as an ovulation.
But also, like, my uncle made me eggs once when I was younger, and they were just, like, really rubbery. And I feel like every time I eat an egg, I think of that moment.
Really rubbery?
Yeah, like, he overcooked them.
Oh, dude.
And they were,
I do love eggs.
Disgusting.
I'm a big egg advocate, but I'm particular about my eggs because I don't like that overcooked egg flavor.
Yeah.
It is so gross. The texture's bad. It smells bad. It tastes bad. Like a country style omelet. When
I hate when I smell an egg too. I'm like, never mind.
Yeah, I don't even want it anymore. Like, it has to be like this.
Well cooked egg.
Yeah, and to me, a well cooked egg is like, or a well cooked egg is like just barely set. Like, as close to
raw yolk.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just barely set with a raw yolk. Like, that's a good fried egg. Or like scrambled eggs, for instance, like you're cooking it in the pan and I turn the heat off when it's still a little loose.
Yeah.
Because then it just kind of
comes
together.
But, like, it just cooks through.
Yeah, but if you cook it all the way through on the heat, and then by the time you put it on the plate and then you're eating it, it's already overcooked.
Yeah.
Like, it's very, like, a short window, and it's, like, amazing. And when you have good scrambled eggs, it's, like, it's so good.
Yeah, I usually have my eggs scrambled.
I can't stop eating them. Like, I'm
just
like,
it doesn't look like an egg as much if it's scrambled, and it tastes better. I do love an omelet, though. I do really like eggs, just sometimes they gross me out.
I guess that's understandable.
Yeah.
Now every time I eat an egg, I'm going to be like, this is a chicken's ovulation. Is that really what an egg is?
I think so. It's like, but I don't know, because don't they have them, like, daily?
Yeah. I had chickens growing up. So they're like, you have hens.
It's not like once a month.
No.
But maybe they just ovulate faster. I think it's an ovulation. It's the fucking egg of life. That's like, what? And
even if it's not fertilized, they still do eggs. I think that's what's great about chicken. They just produce them. They're just like they can't stop.
I feel like it's probably so painful.
It's probably just like pooping to them.
I don't know. I feel like their poops are like small though. Just like a little like.
And it's like liquid. They do shit liquid. Yeah. Chicken shit is some toxic shit. You do not want to get that in your fucking mouth.
It's pretty gross.
Yeah. Ewy.
The white part of chicken poop is like their pee, actually. Because
What?
lizards and like reptiles do the same thing. Like their poops are like half white and half.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Is
Like
that
a
true?
seagull, like when they poop, you know how it's like white and dark? It's like the white is like their secretion.
I was just about to say, is that true with like geese as well? Because I feel like when geese poop, it's like brown and white and like weird.
Yeah, I mean, if you see the white, I feel like I haven't seen a goose poop in a while.
You need to get up on your goose shit.
I know. And I went to UMass Dartmouth where like all the fucking geese are like in the world, they all go to UMass Dartmouth. I don't know why.
That school looks like a prison. I've only driven by it once and I was like, that's a fucking school.
It was just the cheapest place for me to go. But I did actually really enjoy going there. And it's like just brutalist. I mean, you either have that dog in you or you don't. Like
I guess
that
so.
brutalist dog.
I guess I just don't have that brutalist dog in me.
Yeah, that's the truth. They even have like the 666 benches there at UMass Dartmouth.
What's that?
So the guy, this is like the story, right, of UMass Dartmouth, that the guy that built it, he also designed prisons, but he was also a Satanist. And he like designed these benches to be like in 666. So if you take like an aerial view of like part of the courtyard, it's just 666. But you flip that as 999. Shout out Juice WRLD.
Shout out Juice WRLD. But who the fuck, like, how did nobody see that? And be like,
it's like a thing though.
Maybe like don't do satanic shit on our architecture.
They hired him to build it.
Maybe they knew. Maybe they were with it. Like they like this.
It is weird. Stuff. There's like these benches are like in a swirl. It's weird to like weird. Sit on them. Like nobody really sits on them because it's like not like useful really.
And you'll fucking get sacrificed to the devil. Yeah.
Well, I don't think Satanists like actually believe in Satan. That's kind of like I don't know.
I feel like they're just anti-establishment.
They're just anti like the Christian way of being like these people are bad and these people are good. It's like we're all just people. Satanists there's like different levels of there are like Satanists that I do believe worship Satan, but there's also other Satanists that are just like punk.
Yeah, I think it is. I think that's a
but they don't really believe in Satan. They're just like trying to like prove a point in a way that he's like not real.
Did you ever see that clip of that guy that was like the head Satanist in the group and he was doing a bunch of like interviews and stuff? I don't know his name or his association, but then it like cuts to another interview of him and he like had a fucking like premonition and like he talked to God and everything. And so now he's got all these like goats and like 666s all over his face, but he came to God and now he's like Christian. And it's like he literally was running a satanic organization and then just like had a dream basically. And he was like, I was talking to God. And he was like, I just like, even though his whole personality was being a Satanist, he was still just like, I just can't deny this, and just like did his thing, which is crazy.
Damn.
I wish it was that obvious. I feel like it's hard to know what to believe in.
I think personally that religion is sort of like self-manifestation. Mm-hmm. Like if you believe in God, like if you're a Catholic, like I was raised Catholic, and everything is like, you know, you're a sinner when you're born. You're like, you have to feel like this shame about yourself. If you fully believe in that, like when you die, that will be your truth. Like you will either go to like heaven or hell based on how you think you were. But if you like truly believe that there is no God, then when you die, there will be no God. Like I literally think it's whatever you believe. Mm. Like I personally believe that we all come from like a collective conscious of like knowing, and that is like when you have like an instinct like to like not go around a corner or something, that's almost like an ancestor or somebody that like has this knowledge that you don't, that's like telling you not to go. So I believe that like when I die, my soul and like what I know like goes back to this like family collective conscious sort of thing.
That's a nice way to think.
It's like, I just don't think that there's like a man in the clouds like with a golden gate like waiting for me. But I do think that there is something bigger than me that is unexplainable, and like I'm okay with it being unexplainable.
Yeah. And it always blows my mind.
But there's love there. Like I know that love is like the central
100%
idea.
And
I don't care if I don't understand it, you know?
Yeah. I think it's not meant, like you said, not meant to be understood.
It's bigger than me.
People try really hard to understand it.
Which is like like natural human nature to like try and figure things out.
So it's like, well, that's kind of what religion is it's like you just kind of, like I feel like the main thing is like, well, what happens when you die? And that's what everybody...
The fear of death like definitely controls people's minds and how they like literally do everything, because everyone is just like afraid to die. But if you're not afraid to die, like what happens after that?
Are you afraid to die?
I try not to be, because I like try to have that comfort in knowing that like my being, I think, will still be around, but like it won't be me anymore. And like that's kind of sad. Like I'm losing this part. Like I think people come back multiple times and you forget your past lives.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just like learn more and more as a being, and you just try to be like a next being or a better being in like the next level almost. I don't know what fucking level this is, but I'm really trying to be good. I'm just trying to make it out to the next. Like this definitely feels like purgatory, I would say.
Like when you're alive?
Yeah. For sure. Because there's so much good and there's so much bad, and it's like you have to just navigate that.
I feel like, yeah, being alive is weird. Mm-hmm. And I really like to think that we're all just like one person. Like we're just one thing living all these different lives all at once. And like you've lived every single life. And when you're living your life, you're just trying to like, I don't know, like not learn as much as you can, but you're here to just experience what this life is.
Yeah.
You know? But it's like,
and then like you store it somewhere else.
Yeah, but it's like I am you and you are me. And that's why like when I see like a homeless person, you're like, well, that it's not that could have been me. That is me in another life. And I think about that a lot. I don't know if that has to do with religion, but it's kind of just
like that we're all connected.
Yeah, all connected, and also like at the most fundamental level, like you are everyone and everyone is living the life. Like they're living their life right now, but you are everyone who's ever been in history. Like you are, you know, Napoleon, and you're also George Washington, and like you're also like Selena, and you're like
Selena.
Yeah, not Selena Gomez, Selena.
Yeah, Selena.
That was murdered.
Yeah.
But you're also Selena Gomez. Like you really are like.
But you're also Selena Gomez.
Like you're everybody. Mm-hmm. That's how I like to think about it. I feel like that gives me like a lot of empathy.
So what do you think happens after you
like when
have
you
lived? Yeah.
I think that you like insta-spawn into another life.
Really?
Well, yeah, because if you're everybody, it's like as soon as a baby's born, like
you don't think there's any time to like collect your thoughts and consider and then move on to the next life?
I think when you die, you have your life flashes before your eyes, which is like, you know,
DMT.
Like DMT being released by your brain.
Yeah.
And then
that'll be cool.
Yeah, so you kind of get like
that'll be a fun time.
You get to kind of see your life quickly, just a summary of your life, and then I think realistically, then you're just gone. But again, it's like I used to be like really scared of like the void, like of like nothing, like if there's really nothing. But then I realized like if there is nothing,
there's also
like,
everything.
You can't perceive nothing. So
there's
no reason to be scared, because if there's nothing, like you're not even gonna know.
Yeah.
It's not even gonna reach your like psyche.
Yeah, you won't have a brain anymore.
Right, exactly.
You won't have a
This
body.
is reminding me of when me and Danny were talking about like the way we would want to die, and then he was like, "Oh, I want to be shot by a sniper." Like in that head.
Like who's coming after you, bro?
Right. And I was like, why? And he's like, so I die instantly, and I like, you know, just get my little DMT thing. And I was like, dude, you don't get a DMT life flash before your eyes if your fucking head pops.
Yeah. It has to be
all
together.
The chemicals are on the fucking walls, bro. Like there's no, it's got to be, exactly, it's got to be together.
Yeah.
Like,
it's got to be in one piece when you die.
Yeah.
I just want to die in my sleep.
I feel like that's the worst way to die because
why?
Because I mean everybody like wants to die in their sleep, but it's like you have unfinished business. Like you go to bed and it's like, oh, I'm gonna do this tomorrow.
Yeah, but if you get into a boat crash, you have unfinished business or a car accident.
I guess, but you're like, well, I guess this is just how I die. Like this is random. But if you don't even know you died if you fall asleep. Like your life, you're just like, oh yeah, I'll like see my wife tomorrow. But then it's like that's it. Like it's like a sputter. Like you don't actually get to like. I'd rather die in a car accident.
If you could know how you were gonna die, would you? Like
no,
if you
definitely not.
You wouldn't know?
I think about that all the time. If you could know how you're going to die or if you could know when you're going to die. But I wouldn't want to know either, because if it was like plane crash, I would never get on a plane ever again.
Yeah.
But then, it wouldn't matter because a plane would crash into me. Like it would happen either way, but you'd psych yourself out for the rest of your life. And if you knew, I definitely would not want to know when I was going to die. Because if it was like, oh,
26.
next week, I'd be like, well, fuck, like
Yeah.
there's no way to avoid that. Like that's
Mhm.
just what's going to happen. So I like it being a mystery.
Yeah.
That's the best way to go about
Well,
it.
it's like a space and time that hasn't happened yet, so there
Yeah.
really is no future, like, guaranteed. So,
Yeah.
Like, it could just end right here in this moment.
Yeah.
Space and time could just stop right now.
Time is an illusion that we choose to accept.
No, I don't think so.
I think it is. Because what's time? Like, what is it?
It's like a plane. Like, gravity is a plane of time. Plane of time. Time is a plane of time. It's just like a way to measure, I don't know, it's like physics.
It's a way to measure things happening and like a way to pinpoint things in that linear,
In that, yeah.
on that line. But
it definitely, like,
but it's still like
it's
an
subject
illusion.
to gravity.
It's something that humans created. It's an illusion.
But
Because
I mean,
what
you
is
have
time?
aging, and you have this thing that keeps going. If you're not going to call it time, like, you do have this progression of sorts.
But you're like, just, I feel like aging is like you're decaying. Like you're just, but it doesn't really have to do with like time necessarily.
Yeah.
I mean, it does. There's a correlation. Like the older you get, the longer you're alive, the more you deteriorate, and that's just like a fact. But it is still like if you go back millions of years, like the sun's still going around the earth.
Right.
But there was no clocks.
Wait a minute.
There was no clocks.
Wait a minute.
What?
The sun is going around the earth?
Oh yeah, sorry. Geocentric. I misspoke. We're orbiting the sun.
Right.
But I'm saying from our perspective, like I was thinking like a caveman, literally, like in your
The
perspective,
sun.
like the sun is going around the earth, right?
Yeah.
And but that's not like time yet, because you don't know it's 24 hours. There's no clocks. There's no months. Like nobody's invented.
But there
all
is
that yet.
like there's night and day. That's like a cycle. And then there's like seasons, which is like a cycle. But those are like cycles of time. I mean, it's just a way to describe something. Like, is gravity because we call it gravity? Like, no, like gravity is gravity because gravity's gravity.
But I feel like
that's just the
gravity
name
is like
we gave it to.
It's like a force. So do you think time is like a force?
Yeah. And like I think that time and gravity are connected. Because like when you age, and that has to do with gravity and with time. I don't know. Physics was my worst.
How does aging have to do with time? I mean, with gravity. Is it like, are you talking like you get all wrinkly because your skin
and like
gets
your
pulled
things
down?
like your body, like gravity is always being like enacted on your body, and so over time it like wears down. But maybe they aren't connected. They're just like,
I feel like there's an equation there, like time plus gravity equals aging in the context of humans.
Yeah.
But it makes sense, because like, what do people always complain about in the world? They're like, oh, my joints hurt. Well, that's because they've had weight on them for 75 years.
Yeah, so like those things are,
and then you look all wrinkly,
at
and
least
that's
to
just
us.
like, that's just using your face, and then the creases just get amplified by gravity, and like your muscles relax, so it gets looser, so then the pull of gravity gets stronger on it. Well, it doesn't get stronger, but it's just more affected by it because it's looser. Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
Never really thought about that.
But yeah, I'm not a physicist, just a biologist. Trying to make it out in the world as a gardener and a server.
I feel like gardening is in right now. People love having plants in their house.
Yeah, especially like last year I launched my my company, which is like all like native plants, and that summer I feel like people got really into like native plants and like pollinators and like supporting pollinators in their gardens and stuff. And like this year I think I'm gonna pop off. Going to
100%.
Yeah. I can feel it.
So do you garden and you grow these plants and then you sell them to people?
I don't grow them, but I just buy them from nurseries that only sell like native plants. But I would plant like non-native plants for somebody, but I would probably convince them to just get native plants at that point. Because I don't know, you know those like yellow bushes that are blooming everywhere? Those like forsythias?
Oh, forsythias, yeah.
Yeah. They're like horrible and like so invasive, and they're not from here.
But they're so pretty.
I know
they look
so
like bananas.
They are, but there's like other early blooming things, you know. Doesn't have, but the forsythia like really is so nice.
It is. They're pretty.
But
I like their petals are edible too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, that's another thing that I'm interested in, is like harvesting invasive plants to use medicinally because you can take out the whole plant. Now they're like not bothering the environment, and you can use it and eat it and use it for something beneficial. So maybe it'll be my business down the line.
That's a good idea. I always think about like poison ivy. Like, is there any culture in the world that eats
poison ivy
or
is actually
uses-
native to here. It's
Oh, really? So
and it like does produce these berries at the end of the season that are like really good for native birds and stuff.
But not humans.
No. I don't know any like medicinal purposes. Like you're saying, like use it.
Yeah, like how could you? Is there any use for poison ivy other than just being itchy as fuck?
I mean, it might.
Because I know like nettles are sharp, but
yeah.
in like Chinese culture, they make like nettle tea.
I've had
And
nettle
I'm sure
tea.
a lot of other cultures too.
Yeah.
But like that's kind of similar. But poison ivy is like,
oh my
what's
god,
the
no,
purpose?
yeah, you would not. The number one thing you don't want to do, like if you're gonna be gardening in your yard and there is poison ivy, is to like put a fucking weed whacker through that, because if you inhale poison ivy, you can like get like a rash in your throat and in your lungs, and it's horrible. So don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. Also, don't burn poison ivy.
Yeah, don't. Same thing.
I think I knew someone growing up who did that. That like just burned a whole thing, and they just got.
And they're
up.
probably standing there like inhaling
they're
it.
Like,
they're like,
"This is awesome.
This is so awesome." Yeah, but I don't think that there's any medicinal uses, but it might keep out other animals if they don't like poison ivy.
Are there any plants that you really like
that are native, or just like
like what are your favorite native plants, and what are their uses?
I really like like a medicinal one. I can't think of the name. It's not mullein, because mullein is not native to here. I can see it. Well, I really like columbine, but there's really no medicinal use for it. I just really like the flower because it's like a little star. Blueberries are native, and everyone loves blueberries.
Love blueberries.
There's this one that's called sweet fern. I think it's called sweet fern. And if you plant them like with blueberries, like when you harvest the blueberries and you put sweet fern in with the container, it like keeps them from molding. And they just have like some or like other like symbiotic relationship. You can also make sweet fern tea, which like the native people around here used to do. I don't remember what the benefits are. I think it's like for respiratory shit, but I really love sweet fern. It's like a little bush. It's very cute too.
I was gonna say, I don't think I've ever heard of it.
Yeah. It's like mostly like woodland lining sort of area. We have bayberry too that's native. I don't know if you can eat bayberry.
I don't think you can.
No. There might be a medicinal use for it though.
I took a vascular plant taxonomy class when I was at Framingham State, which was really fun because taxonomy is just like naming plants. So it was literally just like,
that's all biology is.
The lab
fucking
was
taxonomy.
Yeah, the lab was just like, we go on hikes and our cool professor would just like point out plants and be like, that's hiking. This plant. And then we would just like write it down and try to remember it.
Yeah.
That was really fun. I really enjoyed that class. And learning, like, my favorite is learning things that are local, that are edible, that are like weeds, like things you wouldn't know.
Mullein or mullein, ever you'd say that, is invasive, but it's also like really good for, that one's also like a respiratory one. If you have like mullein tea, it's like good for cleaning out your respiratory system. And it might also be like good like vascularly, but you can find it anywhere and use it. And then you can get it out of the ground and plant a native plant.
Slay native plants.
Yeah, exactly. You can go the full cycle.
But I love,
take it out, use it, replace it.
I love like foraging for like edible things. Like it's so cool to like get like some bitter crest that's growing and then like just work it into a dish and then it's like, oh, that was just like growing outside naturally. Like it was just,
or like elderberry. So good for you. Native. Slay
native. Let me see what else we got. I mean, I think I've touched on everything. I did want to ask, I know we talked bunnies. Yeah. I don't write questions. I just write like things I want to talk about. Statement. Yeah. What, I know we talked about serving, but what is like some things that make a place fun to serve at?
That's a good question.
I know you talked about trust. earlier, but like, what are some other things? Like, because I know you've served at a bunch of different places, and you like Little Moss probably the most.
Yeah.
So like, what makes a bad place bad to serve at? Like, what makes something like a bad environment?
So many things. Like, I think one of the most important things, like, overall, is just like good management in any sort of industry. It's like also having a good coach when you play a sport. Like, it really just makes such a difference when you have somebody that knows what they're doing and they trust you again. And I feel like when you don't have as much turnover, but that, like, not having as much turnover also comes from like just treating your employees well.
Yeah.
So just being treated well, like not being treated like a number. Like, I've worked so many places where like they don't even like know my name really, or like acknowledge me, or even if you're like, you never get your good work like recognized. So like just telling people they're doing a good job, like it really is as simple as that. Just good training. Oh my God, there's so many things. I think doing a menu test too, like just knowing the menu, knowing your customers, knowing like what you can do with or without management. Like, can I send them free things? Can I take this off the bill? Like, because at Little Moss we'll just do anything. Like, if you are not, don't come in there and try to take advantage of it though. Not that anyone would, but some people just want free shit, you know? Like, they're just gonna be
free shit.
They're just gonna be rude just to get like free stuff. But honestly, if you just like, sometimes you just have to give it to them and like just not let them like get all like festered up. It's like, all right, we'll just. But then you're like, oh, I wish they didn't get that thing for free. But in the grand scheme of things, it's just better that way. You know, you want people to come back, whether they.
At the end of the day, that's all that matters, is that they come back, because that's how you keep a business going. And
I think for serving, just not, like, you cannot take it personal, even though you are having a personal interaction with somebody. Like, whatever their energy is, you just cannot be like, oh, they don't like me, or like, oh, like they're mad at me. It's like, no, they're just however they are, and you still have to like do your job well, and that can be very difficult to do.
That is difficult to do.
Yeah.
Not serving, but I remember on my externship, I literally thought that one of the chefs like hated me.
Yeah, you just can't.
And Sayana said to me, she goes, you have to stop projecting your like fears and emotions onto this person, because they probably don't hate you.
Or they're like really not even thinking of you. Do you ever think of your server? Yeah. Like, really?
Yeah. They're not even thinking of you. And then like you just, you know.
But sometimes you do remember people, and like that's awesome. You know, like we have a lot of repeat like customers that come in, and like you kind of like form a relationship with them too. But like day to day, these people are not thinking about you. Like, they just want their food. They just want to sit there with their family.
Unless you say something crazy to them. Like, what did you say that one time?
Yeah, at that other place that I worked. Well, actually, I got fired one time at this place that's like around where we live, because they had this regular, and he used to tell all the waitresses that they would look better if they smiled more. And I said, wait for the day he says that to me, because he won't ever say it to me again. And he said it to me, and then I was like, you know, bro, that's kind of just like the number one thing you don't say to women. Like, that's not even that rude. It's just the truth. It's like, yeah, that is the number one thing you're not supposed to say. And when the owner found out, they just like let me go, and I was like, good riddance. I mean, honest to God,
you died on that hill, that feminist hill, and I think honestly that's a just cause.
That wasn't even that. I wasn't even like fuck you. I was just like, that's just the number one thing you don't say to women.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. That's right up there next to calm down.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think you should tell anybody to calm down. It's just like, obviously they're in this emotional state for a reason, and they're gonna come out of it. Just like let them have their moment.
Yeah. And you should also never tell anybody to shut up. Shut up is very rude.
Shut up.
That's how I was raised. We could curse, and we could say anything in the house. Like, I would say the most fucked up shit. But then
you couldn't say shut up.
Only at my mom's house. If we said shut up, like, she'd be like, don't say that. Like, she'd be like mad at us. So now every time someone says shut up, I'm like, you shouldn't say that.
Yeah.
That's very rude.
Yeah, I mean, people are going through shit,
yeah,
you know?
I mean, if you're joking, you're like, oh, shut up. Like, that's fine. But if you're like, actually, bro, shut the fuck up, bro. You're literally just like telling them to stop talking. And it's like, no.
And that never feels good.
No, just trying to shut some people down.
Imagine saying that to a customer, like, shut up, bro.
Yeah. You literally, there's nothing worse you could say. It'd be better if you curse. Like, but you being like, dude, shut the fuck up.
Usually I'll just go to the kitchen and like express how I feel, as you know.
Yeah.
But like, I would never put that on. These people are paying to come here. Like, I respect that, and this is my job. Like, I chose to do it, and I don't have to do it. I have my degree. I don't have to do this. I'm doing it like because it supports my business, really. And that's my
But
main
also you
priority.
find
But
joy
also,
in it.
yeah, I have like grown this new like appreciation for like having good service, because I love when I go out and I have like a good waitress that just gets the vibe, and like
Mm-hmm.
she knows I'm gonna have another drink, but not at this moment. Like she knows not to like how to course out the, you know, the food that I'm ordering, and not just like having a good server really is like, I just want to give that to other people, you know?
Yeah. How has your serving changed going from somebody who maybe didn't love serving and you were just doing it as a job,
Yeah.
and now you're somebody who like really enjoys it? Like, how has your serving changed throughout
Oh,
that process?
drastically. I think, like I said before, just I took everything personally because I was like projecting, like, oh my God, they hate me, or I messed up, and
Yeah.
oh my God, they're going to think I'm the worst server.
It's like totally overthinking.
It's just like confidence. I guess I gained more confidence in like what I was doing. Also, I know everything on our menu. Just being confident in knowing the drinks, the wine, the menu, like the people, the vibe, you know, you have to like really execute that vibe as well. But I've never cared about any other restaurant I worked at because they didn't really care about me.
Right.
So that just really makes a difference, you know? Being somewhere where like you're valued and you, I don't know. It's like part, like Shannon always says, it's a dinner party every night. Like having that mentality instead of, oh, I need these people to like get up really quick so I can like change the table and I can like make money, and like I'm not helping any other server because I'm not getting paid for that. Like I'm just working for my tips. It's just a whole other experience. And I would definitely work in other like fine dining just for people care about you, you know, where you're valued. That's it. That's the difference.
I love that. I love when Shannon says that like every night is a dinner party, because Little Moss really is so like small and intimate. It's like you kind of are coming into like Lisa and Shannon's house to like just eat some cool food that's prepared by cool people. Like,
and I know that like if I have an issue, like Shannon has my back. You know, I've worked with plenty of managers that would throw me right under the bus and be like, "You're doing this wrong." Like, and yeah, of course I did something wrong. Like I'm learning how to do this, you know. Not everyone's like going to be a perfect server every night, but
yeah, Shannon's amazing. I'm really sad he's
having that backup makes a hell of a difference.
Yeah. He's awesome. I'm excited to do the podcast with him.
Yeah, is he next?
Well. And I don't know who's next. It'll either be
maybe Lisa.
It'll either be Joey. I know Lisa's next week, but I might do one between now and then. And then Shannon is in 2 weeks. So that will be fun.
Yeah. He's definitely grown into his position.
I can't imagine that place without him. Like really, he's so charismatic and like does such a great job, and it's gonna be a shame when he's gone.
He's really like honed in on his craft, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like I have too. It's just like you get, once you know how to do something, you just, that's how you gain confidence. It's just like knowing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And doing it well. 100%. And
100%.
giving people free bread.
Yeah. People love the free bread.
Yeah. No, I don't give like, or just like the little treats we send out.
No, it's amazing how far like a little treat can go. Like just one thing unexpected.
Far. And it's like cheap. Like, it's like a fried ball of rice, and it just like makes people feel special. And like if someone's never been there before, I usually send them a treat. Or if they're not having, if they're hangry, you know, or if they're like not having, something's taking a while because you can't put the burgers on, or no.
Wow, bro. Wow.
But just knowing that vibe and knowing when to send free shit. And also just friends and family that we like, you know. It makes people come back. Like I think our customers also feel special, which is everybody
100%.
feels important and special, which is like really
people
wholesome.
Just want to be seen. Like
they
people
do.
Just want to like go out, have a good time.
You want to be slightly seen by your server and understood, but also left alone.
Yes, that's the perfect balance. The perfect balance.
Understood, but left alone.
Yeah. No, I like that. Do you have any like super insane serving stories that blew your mind in the moment when they were happening?
Well,
or just like super rude guests.
The place where the line cook asked for my birthday so he could put my 18th birthday in, we had this sushi chef that would always come in drunk, and I literally saw him get so mad that he like held the owner at knife point.
Holy shit, bro.
And I'm just like 16, like, where am I right now? But he was like really good at, like, his sushi rolls were like amazing. So they like couldn't get rid of him, but he would always just come in drunk, and usually it wasn't an issue until that night. And also the owner of that restaurant definitely like kept our tips. Like, he was a horrible person.
That's so fucked. That's the worst thing when, like,
he's like, we pool tips, and it was a sushi place that made a lot of money, and, like, I'm the busser getting paid $15 as my tip for the whole night on a really busy night. That doesn't add up.
Yeah.
It's always a percentage of the tips. And even the servers, they take home like $100. And I'd be like, this guy is like raking in the money and keeping it from us.
Which is crazy because you guys are like doing most of the work. Like,
you
have to pay your employees or they're all just going to leave. Or they're not going to do a good job, or like, it's just the right thing to do. Like,
when these bills are $300, $200, $300 and we're getting paid $100, it's just not adding up.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean I'm getting paid $15 as a busser for this whole night? Like, that should be at least, I don't know. Because bussers also make minimum wage usually, so you don't get as many of the tips, but usually it's like 5% or 2, like a percentage. But I just know that guy was just like, okay, here's my $1,000. I'm going to give 100, 115 and keep 800 for me.
Yeah, that's just...
I didn't last there long. Yeah. A lot of people don't.
Corporate greed.
Yeah. So, definitely come a long way from there.
Yeah.
From the knife point.
What would you have done if he, like, stabbed him? Like...
I don't know. I was so young. Like, this was, like, 9 years ago, you know? Like, I don't know. I probably would have just ran.
Probably just would have tweaked.
Yeah, I would have tweaked out like Brandon. Ah! I would have been a certified tweaker.
Certified tweaker.
I would have just left. I mean, I didn't have anything to lose. I didn't have bills. I could have just quit at any point, you know?
That's the best feeling when you're young. Like, I had a job I didn't like when I was 15. I literally had a shift in an hour, and I was like, I'm not fucking doing this.
Yeah,
I called them, and I was like, yo, I'm not coming in. And they were like, okay. And I was like, actually, I'll probably not going to come in at all, really. Ever. And she was like, is this your 2 weeks? And I was like, no, I'm just not working here anymore. Yeah. And she was like, okay, well, thanks for calling me. It's like...
I used to work at Moe's, and I was on this field trip, and I had to work a shift at night. And I had a seizure. I had like a heat stroke.
Oh my God.
Seizure, yeah. And I was in the hospital, and I gave my phone to my dad, and I said, you got to call my boss because I can't go to work tonight. And so he calls her, and she's like, first thing she said is, well, do you have a doctor's note? I'm like, I'm in the hospital because I just had heat stroke. I'm pretty sure I can get you a fucking doctor's note. She just hated me. She was just like the literal worst manager ever. And so then when I felt better, I brought my uniform in, and I was like, next time someone has a seizure, you should ask them if they're okay. Not if they have a doctor's note.
That's completely valid.
Yeah.
Like, the fuck? I feel like the most important thing...
Like, obviously I'm going to get you a fucking... Like, my dad is calling you because I can't even be on my phone right now, and you're like, think I'm lying? Like...
It's so crazy.
What? Insane.
The most important thing I feel like when you're a manager that people just don't grasp is when you're a manager, you work for the team. The team does not work for you.
Yeah.
And so it's like in that situation, like she should have just been like, oh my God, are you okay? I will find coverage.
That's just like a normal human experience.
Right. Like,
yeah. Or I'll go in. You're the manager. That's why you get paid more. If your employees can't come in, you come in.
Exactly. You cover it.
Yeah. That's why you get paid more. But she probably wasn't getting paid that much more at Moe's, but... She was just horrible. She just hated me. I don't know why. Like, one time I was sick, and I called out, and she, like, asked my coworker if I was really sick. And I'm like, how would he even know? Like, I should have just... Moe's is horrible. And then they were doing this, like, burrito discount for every time the UConn women's, like, won basketball, and, like, they won every single game. And so our burritos went down to, like, 50 cents, and the line would be, like, wrapped around the building. Horrible. Don't ever work at Moe's during UConn basketball women's season.
Yeah, or just don't ever work at Moe's.
Yeah, just don't work at Moe's. I'm sure Chipotle isn't much better, but...
Is Moe's is like Chipotle, just a little bit different.
Southwest
I think I've been there
Grill.
Once. Yeah.
There's not as many of them as...
It's I didn't like it very much.
Yeah.
I know some people swear by Moe's, but I'm like...
I mean, honestly, I will say it was really clean. Like, all of our food and... Like, it was all, like, prepped really well, and, like, it was very clean, which is not always the norm for, like, those fast-paced places, but...
I've heard Burger King is, like, immaculate.
Really?
Yeah. Or I've heard... That's what I've heard from people. And, like, they would clean the charbroiler, like, every single night. Like, take it apart, put it back together.
I know McDonald's is nasty.
Oh, yeah.
That ice cream machine, I know it's never been cleaned. It's always broken, never been cleaned, though.
It's probably not even broken half the time. It's probably just like,
bruh.
It's just disgusting, and they can't serve ice cream out of it. Or they're just like, like a bunch of kids, and they're like, we're not fucking doing this.
Yeah.
Like, go fuck yourself.
I feel like
Oreo
working fast food
McFlurry.
would be horrible, so I can't even imagine. I give them all the grace because I'm like, your job probably fucking sucks, so.
We would joke about that sometimes, like, we'd be going to McDonald's and it would be taking forever, and we'd be like, dude, we should just go back there and like help them. Like, it was when we were in culinary school, so we literally we would just pull up. We're all chefs, and we're just like,
throw those nuggets in the fryer. Let's get it.
Why the fuck are my nuggets taking like an hour right now?
And they're like cold, and you're like, bruh.
Oh my god! But
I hate cold fries.
That's the thing about McDonald's, though, is it's like a 2 if it's not good. Like, it's so bad, but if it's all hot and fresh,
it's like really
it can
good.
Be really good.
Yeah,
like it can be like an 8. Like,
I remember the Travis Scott meal.
Oh, you know what I'm here for.
It was actually the first burger I ever had at McDonald's was the Travis Scott burger.
Really?
Because I just usually would get nuggets. I personally like Wendy's the most. I don't really like McDonald's.
Wendy's is top tier.
Yeah. But
what do you get at Wendy's?
Usually a 6-piece nugget.
That's it? My god, you make me feel like such a fat ass dude.
Well, I'd also get like fries and like maybe like a Frosty.
Jesus. I would get like a double fucking Baconator on a pretzel roll, the saucy nuggets.
I just don't really like fast food burgers, so like nuggets are kind of the only. That's why the Travis Scott meal was my first burger, because I only like burgers that are like handmade. Like, I'll never go to a restaurant and get a burger. Or like.
That's so like posh of you.
It's just I have all these weird food things. I'm telling you, like, there's just certain food that I won't.
Would you ever order eggs at McDonald's? Like, would you ever get
hell
eggs?
Hell no.
Like, go for breakfast and get like a bacon, egg, and cheese?
The closest I've ever gotten was a Dunkin', the snack wrap. Is that what it's called?
The wake up wrap?
The wake up wrap.
Yeah.
Right?
I like lived off of those.
Those are like actually good.
They're pretty good.
Yeah. So I've had, and then for a while, Dunkin' had this like breakfast taco. It was like a very brief moment, and it was so fucking good. It had like spicy like pico on it or something. It was.
It's always surprising when you go to a place like Dunkin' and the food's actually not bad.
I know.
I just went to Starbucks the other day and I got the jalapeno spicy chicken wrap. It was really good. It was like that big. It was like teeny tiny.
Yeah.
And I was like, this could be bigger. Like, it was the first time I went to Starbucks and I wanted more. Because usually, like, the bacon, egg, and Gouda there is just so mid.
I usually get a cake pop.
That's it. Just a cake pop. Those are pretty good. They're like really raw dough on the end of a stick, I feel like. They're so moist.
So like, good, though. They're so good. So
if you're afraid of eggs, when you bake, like, do you eat raw cookie dough?
Oh, yeah.
So
because I can't see it. It's either like a texture or like a visual thing for me. Like beans. I can have refried beans because the texture is better, but like regular beans, like no.
See, I get that. I'm not big on beans.
Yeah.
I'm not a big legume guy.
But I would have them if I had to. Like one time I went to my friend's house and her dad was like a really scary guy. Like he had like this like Cheshire cat smile. Like fuck it. He looked like a dentist. Like he wasn't a dentist though. And he made me like my worst meal ever. I think it was like sausage, beans, and like something else, and like I don't like sausage or beans, and I was like, oh my god, I have to eat this. Like I have to eat this right now. And I did, but
shout out to powering through that. That's
I really had to.
Incredible. I'm not good at powering through. If I don't like something, I'm like, I'm not fucking.
But I was just so scared of him. Like I was like, I have to finish this, or I'm gonna get beat with like
over your shoulder, like smiling, like
he's
eat
like,
the fucking beans.
Eat the beans. Yeah.
Ewy. Who serves beans and sausages to like a sleepover?
It was like beans and something else I hate. Like it was either like sausage or eggs or I don't know. But what would he have served with beans that I would have hated?
And it was for breakfast?
I don't know if it was like for dinner or for breakfast. Could have been like a dinner sausage, but I do like kielbasa and stuff like that, so it wasn't anything like that. I don't know, but it was horrifying. I know there was beans.
That sounds traumatic.
Yeah, it was.
What's like your happiest food memory?
Probably like having a lobster roll in the summer.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm such a Connecticut ass bitch. I'm like lobster. Well, I guess that's Mass too, right?
Yeah,
that's like the
New
whole
England,
East Coast.
Yeah,
New England. Yeah. New England summer. Oh, just like a hot butter lobster roll.
And the
bun with like a nice grilled bun, and they give you a little lemon.
Fucking love lobster rolls.
Stop. I kind of like the cold ones, but I love like a hot butter one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm so much more of like a New England style, like
With the coleslaw?
no, not on it, but like just like the like mayo and celery and like lemon, like just like a classic lobster roll. The brown butter one or just like the warm lobster rolls. It's good, but I'm so much more in it for I like the cold lobster. It's
really
so good. Yeah.
Well, more for you, more for me.
Yeah, true. Have you ever been to what the fuck is that place called? I can't remember what it's called. There's a place on the Cape that has like banging lobster rolls. Like they're not that expensive.
I don't really like the Cape. I don't
like at all.
Not really. I think it's overrated as fuck.
Oh, of course it is. I don't like love the Cape right
And
now.
also like that's such a Massachusetts core thing. Like I feel like people are like, oh, I used to work on the Cape, so I also just hate like people that live on the Cape. I'm so sorry. This is a whole thing for me. Well, but they'd be like, the tourists are coming. I'm like, they're from Mass. Like, how are they a tourist?
Yeah, they live in the fucking
state. They live in the same state. And also, you're not from here either. Like,
the Cape is just
like, the entitledness of the Cape is like horrifying. Like, I'm from like a small little beach town that's like really nice, like good sand, not like a shit ton of people. You go to the Cape and there's like someone sitting right here on the beach with you. Like, I don't like that really.
Yeah, I feel like
unless you're rich and you have a private beach. I mean, you go to the end of it's beautiful. Like I'm not saying it's ugly at all. I just the people there are whether you're a tourist or a local, you're awful.
A local.
A local.
Dude, the Cape.
You're just not my type.
I feel like the Cape is like heroin 80% of the year, and then 20% of the year it's like super fun and beachy. Yeah. But like that's pretty much
also, it's like the Cape is like an ecological disaster. Like I would not swim in that water because of like all the think about all the flushing toilets on the Cape. Where are they going? There's no septic. The septic sewer, all that system on the Cape is like horrible, and it's like really really old, and it just goes out into the water, and it's like disgusting.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Ew.
Well, the lab I used to work in was like a wastewater treatment place, but they used glycerin instead of typically use like alcohol to treat water, but like glycerin's like a more eco-friendly, less like non-hazardous way to treat water. So I was up on that. I knew about that sort of thing. I was thinking about the flushing toilets on the Cape. But I worked in Picasso. It was like barely over the Cape. But the fucking bridge, that is the scariest bridge to go over. And I went over it daily.
Great bridge to jump off of, I feel like. It's very high up.
Yeah.
You'd have a lot of time to think about your choice as you're falling. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. I think about that
every time I go. What is it called? The Bourne Bridge.
Yeah, the Bourne Bridge. Every time I drive over it, I'm like, God damn, bro. Like, this bridge is so high up. It really, it's crazy. You're hundreds of feet in the air.
And then they were doing construction on it when I was working there, and it was probably still tourist season. And so it would take me normally it would take me 30 minutes to get to work, and it would take me 2 hours because of that traffic. And I was like, I'm at my brink. I'm like, I work a 9 to 5 that I didn't hate it, but it just wasn't, I just knew it wasn't for me. I just had that feeling, Yeah. And I only worked with 2 people every day, on day to day. And I was just like, I'm such a social person that I can't, they know all my jokes. I'm not really funny here anymore. No, I really did enjoy my coworkers, but it just wasn't fulfilling.
No, I feel like working on the Cape can be really depressing. Because again, it's really, really exciting for a couple weeks.
They have great hiking trails though. In the off season, it's actually nice to be there on the off season because it's less crowded. They have so much hiking and there are cool little beaches to go eat lunch at and stuff, but it just wasn't for me. It's just not my No.
Just not your vibe.
No, thank
and
you.
That's okay.
Yeah. They were a good company though, but it just that feeling where you're like, I need to just
get out of here.
I also knew if I wanted to start my own business that it had to be when I was on my parents' insurance still and right after college. That is the time to experiment career-wise.
Yeah.
And you have to take that opportunity.
100%. That's what your 20s are for, is just to take risks.
To fuck up.
Yeah, literally take risks, fuck up, make mistakes, learn from it.
I had the salary, I had the 401k, I was like, okay, I have everything. And then I was like, oh, this is it.
Yeah.
And I was like, this can't be it for me. And then I quit my job. I went to Mexico, started my own business, and served.
I respect that.
Thank you.
I respect that a lot. I always said, like, if I ended up in a, like, 9 to 5, like, if I really just, like, went through with the business thing, I probably would have killed myself by the time I'm 40.
It was just like, you really can see your whole life there.
Yeah.
And you're like, this
Like
is
you said, you get set up and you're like, wait, I have everything.
Yeah. I had a really nice office.
now
I
what?
had everything. People respected me. Like, I worked in a chemistry lab. I was like working on a fucking gas chromatography machine, and then I was like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
I don't.
You're like, okay, cut to 40 years later. Like,
Yeah,
you're
and I
literally
did feel
same
like
company.
my boss, like, she wanted me to grow at a certain rate so that I wouldn't get bored, which I do, like, appreciate in a way, but I'm like, you're kind of, like, not letting me, like, grow at the rate that I want to.
Mhm.
And I just don't want that to be controlled. I don't want my growth to be controlled by somebody else, you know?
Yeah. It sounds
So,
depressing.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you ended up serving.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
It's actually coming up on a year since I left that job. And I'm like, wow, the things that I've done in a year. Was it the smartest move financially? Absolutely not.
No, but like you said, you're young. Like, you're supposed to take risks and figure stuff out, you know, now, because
I just was like, this is, if I don't, especially like gardening is so laborious. I was like, if I don't do this now, like, I'm not going to start gardening when I'm 30. Like, you have to be pretty young to, like, consistently. And farmers, like, old farmers, like, look great. Like, they are all, like, the healthiest people. They look great. So then you have, like, those fat landscapers that you're like, I know damn well you don't do shit with your team.
Yeah, they, like, own the team, and then they're just like, you don't lift cement slabs
There's
anymore.
actually a lot of horrible landscapers. Like, since I've been in that space, I have to, like, go to people's houses, and I'm like, what did they do to you? Like, what is this?
It's like getting your hair cut fucked up. You're like, what did they do to your fucking yard, bro? Like, the fuck?
Well, because you just understand that some people are, it's like same thing with the restaurant business. Some people are in it just for money, just for a business, and some people are in it because they are well educated and they love it and, like, it's their passion. And that's just like every business, I guess.
Yeah, that's the difference between, you know, people who give a fuck and people who don't.
You just have to do what you love to do, because you can get to that point of, like, career stability and be like, fuck. I'm just glad I had that moment really early on in my career.
Yeah, it's not like you're, like, mid-30s.
Yeah, and I'm like, wait, I want to change everything. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
I think that's really valid, what you said. Like, find what you love to do.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a good way to leave it.
I feel like you found what you love to do, you know?
Yeah, I'm glad.
Yeah.
It was, like, my internal
I can't
struggle.
imagine you, like, as anything else.
It feels so right.
Yeah, it does.
It does. Like, once it clicked, I was like, okay.
And you're always just so, you definitely are, like, where you're supposed to be.
I hope so.
That's my tarot card for you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I think right now I am where I'm supposed to be, which is good.
Yeah. Me too.
Good.
High five.
Yeah,
we're on our way.
That's good. Thank you. Anything you want to say? What's your business called?
Wild Kayle Gardening.
Plug.
Southeast Massachusetts.
Hell yeah. Buy some native plants. Thanks
and
for coming.
I will plant them for you, Shorty.
Thanks for coming. This was super fun.
Yeah, you're welcome. It was good.